not a safe space, was shot in front of a live studio audience. Hear the guest argue like their ideas pay rent. Where questions don't exist unless you pay for that shush. Prepare yourself.
I appreciate y'all for joining the panel. Let's have a conversation.
Before we get started, if you don't mind me.
No, I do actually do mind.
Oh, okay. Well,
only thing can interrupt me is Cash Apps. Only thing interrupt me is Cash Apps.
Shut the fuck up then.
Yeah. Just no.
You gonna
calm
do your boy
yourself
like that?
before you everybody getting done that way. Are you crazy? This back and forth is ridiculous. Kay, I was speaking to you. How you doing this evening? This afternoon.
I'm good. How you?
I'm doing well. Let me ask you about the prompt. Decentering men is a good thing. You agree or disagree?
Yes, I do. I agree.
You agree. All right, LJ, decentering men is a good thing. You agree or disagree?
I agree.
You agree. Saw, decentering men is a good thing. You agree or disagree?
I disagree.
You disagree. Okay, Rada. How are you doing, Rada?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking. Decentering men is a good thing. You agree or disagree?
I agree.
You agree? Okay. My Lisa, how you doing?
Well, how are you?
Good. I'm doing great. Chilling, man, like a ceiling fan. Let me ask you. Decentering men is a good thing. You agree or disagree?
I agree.
You agree. All right. Rada, what'd you say?
I said I agree.
Okay, tell me why you agree.
Because from my understanding of the definition, I think it just means that women see themselves as individuals and they don't necessarily see themselves under the lens of a man, like they have their own identities. So I feel like that is good. So they can feel like less pressure to get married, have children, and they can really just focus on what they want out of life without a man being involved in their worth.
What would be that one thing out of life? You said one thing they want out of life?
Oh, I said they can focus on what they want out of life.
Oh, what they want out of life and it not be tied to a man.
Yes.
What if they want a man?
Well, then I think that's fine too if that's what they want.
Could they still decenter men and want one?
I'm actually not sure. I want to say yeah.
Okay. All right.
I can answer that, Frank. Yes.
Anyone disagree with what Rada
I
said?
disagree
In what way?
in every way. A woman, majority of women that don't have any man in their life whatsoever, that includes father, that includes employer, that includes financial manager, they are suffering in every statistical category you can think of. Wow! There's not one statistic, not one, as you can find 51% of women, which would be the majority, are doing the right thing. And that's because they're choosing
What up, brother?
to try to do it on their own. But women who have leadership by their father, and then they're moved from their father to their husband, and they have individuals who have their best interests at heart, those individuals are winning. Because the number one thing a man has to protect a woman from is herself. I land.
Really? What does that look like? A man protecting a woman from herself. What does that look like? Give me just one example though.
Okay, put that hamburger down. You get.
Go ahead. Do your thing. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Put that hamburger down. We need to stop eating bread, baby. You've gained 45 pounds since we started dating. Hey, baby, don't buy that. Put that purse back. You already have 2 credit cards maxed out.
So obsessed with weight, Saul.
Excuse you. I wish you would be obsessed with being a person with common courtesies, but we see that that's not one of your strong points. So what I was trying to say is that I believe that men, when they are the yin to the woman's yang, they are the discipline and all of the structure that they need, and the women bring the intangibles, and when you have the yin and yang together, they make a great team. But when you have women by themselves, they're destructive, lost, financially, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Look at the statistics. I land.
Okay. Brother, I cannot. Hold on with these. I'm not gonna read it like that. I can't speak it like that. I'm letting y'all know with these cash apps, you gotta censor yourself. I'm no longer reading them the way y'all were doing them. P Riding B. Why? I can't not say her letter because her letter is her name. YK up there. She just a Shan groupie. Vagina Riding B.
Yeah, is very much so. Love her down bad. Thanks that you
Okay.
recognize that.
Anyone disagree with Saul's take?
I do.
Anybody with common sense would disagree with that idiot.
Well, I actually do disagree. You want to know why?
Let's
Because
let Kay go. I've heard from you. Go ahead, Kay.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it brief, Frank. So pretty much, like Ryder said, decentering men is just a concept in which women are able to focus on what they desire. If that desire is an education, if that desire is they want to have a baby, if that desire is they want to get married, whatever that desire is, it allows women to focus inward and get rid of the things that are tying us to traditional gender roles, right? Like where you're at the family reunion or you're at Thanksgiving and people are asking you when you're going to get married, when you're going to have a baby, etc. A lot of women experience that. So decentering men is simply my identity is not tied to I have to have a man in order to have something, in order to be something.
Kay, couldn't it be argued that certain things are just considered like socially we're expected to be at certain points in our lives at certain time.
Right.
If you're a child at 15, 16, then the questions would be, when are you getting your license? If they don't know how old you are, then when do you graduate? So them asking when you get married is probably because generally around a certain time, people get married.
But that's literally because of patriarchy and misogyny, because women of that time period, like I'm talking about boomers and Gen X, where they were like, oh girl, you need a man, like you like it was such an emphasis for our parents, and I'm a millennial, to where it's almost suffocating, so to speak. And for everybody who's talking about whatever about a man, baby, I'm married. Okay, I got 2 kids. I love it here, baby. I don't lift a finger unless I want to. Period. Okay, so that's
Well, you said you're centered around a man.
but I'm not. I'm actually not, because my man empowers me as I empower myself to do the things that I want to do. I'm getting an education, and he is helping carry the household. So I'm sorry, that's not centering a man. It's actually focusing on myself so that I can then pour back into my family when I get an advanced degree. So y'all won't
When you get your
understand that.
degree.
Y'all don't understand
on.
that because y'all
Hold on,
don't
Kay.
like women.
Before your previous point, anyone agree with Kay?
I agree
Outside of
with
her
Kay, especially. Yeah.
I do. Decentering men.
Wait, let
is
LJ
just,
go. Brooklyn, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, I agree, especially around the point that she made around, like, couples make decisions together.
The fact that you proud to be a groupie is crazy. Y'all followers never get ahead and get out what? You claim holding you back.
Y'all forget that on this app, even though we're on this app and it's all for giggles and stuff, like we're real people. And this idea that anything that somebody says on this app will influence my personal life decisions is fucking wild. I can like a person, as themselves, and respect them, and it be that. So I don't understand why y'all do this high school thing, but it's played. Like I said, Fan of Shan, love her down bad. She's that girl. You bitches is haters. Y'all need a fucking band. And yeah. So keep paying Franklin to say stupid shit.
Okay, LJ, you can finish your point.
Wasting y'all motherfucking money.
Say it again, I'm gonna drop you.
And she
Go-
hating on you. She
go
hating on
ahead,
your
L-
income, dog. Damn.
Go ahead, LJ. Go ahead. We don't mind haters here. We don't mind.
I think it's super admirable when couples come together and they have goals, and one partner can cover the other while they go make that investment, so that the partner can come back to the relationship and help, achieve the greater good. Like I talk about that all the time. And the other
No,
part
and
that she,
that's why I said this part. I said away from her personal, that last personal that she provided. I said, does anyone agree? So I was talking about what she was saying before, pretty much the pressure and the stuff about marriage and dealing with a man, all that. You remember her point before the personal?
no, well, I was going
Oh
to
no,
address
that's why
both,
I
but then
asked.
the Cash App, I forgot.
Okay, that's why I asked before the personal. Hold on. K whole life is centered around a man.
Y'all okay? If that's how y'all feel, okay. I love it here.
Could you do me a brief 30 seconds of what you were saying before you told the personal K?
Oh, what I was saying was making sure that decentering men just simply means that your desires, whatever that looks like, is
Hey,
at the
what? Hey,
forefront.
when something, Wendy, you can mute up for me. You have an echo.
Is at the forefront of what you want. Like I don't understand why that's so hard to understand.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree with that. I think
Wanting
women
wanting
should.
things for yourself is not a crime. Like again, whatever that, because I support all women, whatever that looks like, whatever relationship configuration, whatever dynamic. And no, you don't have to be dependent on a man to quote center a man. That's silly. Like I'm that's wild. Y'all, I can
Okay.
tell when people don't know definitions of stuff. There's literally a definition on the internet about decentering men. So please go read that.
I
okay.
agree with her. I think that self-actualization is one of the things that like should be a primary motivator for all humans. And so if a woman is chasing her life dream simply for herself rather than for the attention of the man, like that's super important. I would advocate that every father that has children should teach their daughters that. And I would also, I don't have a son, but if you have a son, like I would teach my son, don't be with a woman that is doing things for your approval, because that is only going to take them so far. And if you're doing something for the approval of your partner and not for yourselves, at some point you're going to resent them. Like at some point that return on that investment is not going to be enough, and you're going to resent that person because you're going to say, "Oh, I gave X amount of years doing all these
When you
things for
say
you."
don't pick a woman who is doing something for your approval, what type of thing would that be for your son that you're telling you? Let's not just make it your son, but just a classroom of young men. Don't search for a woman who is doing things for your approval. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm saying like when I meet a woman, like I'm gonna ask, within the first couple of conversations, like, what are you trying to achieve with your life? Like what does your career situation look like? What are you doing to improve yourself? Like before we ever have any conversations of what I'm looking for or what I need, like I want to hear those answers. And if it's I don't know, or I'm just living day to day, or I don't have a plan, or I'm not dating that woman.
Those girls are the most fun, though. How can a wife decenter men? One person can answer. Hold on.
Quickly.
No, no, no. Somebody who hasn't spoken. My Lisa, can you answer that question? How can a?
Asking,
I'm sorry.
I was asking to explain more what Kay was saying
Okay. Be
because
patient.
I don't
Be
think y'all
patient.
getting it.
Okay. That's fine. My Lisa, could you answer the cash app for me? How can a wife decenter men?
So, when you're in your relationship, you still look at things and have your own goals, your own aspirations. Now, they still need to coexist with your partner, but you don't lose sight of the fact that you still want to evolve, you still want to develop yourself, you still want to learn things about yourself that are independent of just what is going to help your partner or your children. You're still looking at things that are going to help you personally grow on the whole.
Okay. Uh, you had a follow up, Brooklyn.
Yeah. When excuse me. When we say decent to men,
The person's name who starts with the E, still a bit. And K, shut the F up. Go tend to your man who makes your life easier, goofy. Either one of y'all can respond if you want to.
Yeah.
He'll be here at 6:30. I'll tend to him when he gets here. Thanks.
And look, for you inbreds, I'm gonna say this. I just hope that my daughter's never run into any men like you clowns, because it's just ridiculous.
The title wife is centered around her husband, right?
Frank, do you want me to actually answer these questions? Because I literally didn't finish my thought earlier, which led to misconception. But hold
Oh,
on.
Hand of
it's
that baby. Oh
hey,
my God, my ears.
it's
Actually,
whatever.
actually, his grandmother is here. She has him.
Ah, ah.
Thanks.
Okay. Listen. When the cash
Almost
apps come
sounds
in,
just like you
you
saw.
guys can answer the question
Sound like your
however you
fat back
deem.
screaming for more
You guys
fat.
stop talking while I'm talking. When the cash apps come in, you guys can answer the question however you deem fit. I'm not here to police the answering of the cash apps. I just want one person to speak to it. That's it. And we'll move on. So however you see, whatever answer you provide is cool with me. I don't care. Did you want to continue, or Brooklyn was speaking?
Just let me know what you would like for me to do. It's your
Okay.
panel.
Okay.
I want to respect. I don't want to center myself. It definitely. I didn't even finish my thought.
Okay, go ahead. Finish your
because-
thought.
Okay. My point is, whereas people are saying you can't decenter men and also be in a relationship, like my Lisa said, the point and the purpose is for you to focus on your goals, your dreams, and don't attach those things to exclusively having a man. And at the same time, I don't live two lives. My husband be sitting right here most of the time when I'm on live, and he thinks you guys are fucking ridiculous a lot of the times. So it's very strange to me how, again, y'all get on here and you bump your gums about things you know nothing about. I am a whole nurse. I am going to be a nurse practitioner. At the end of the day, we are partners. Okay, he supports me, I support him. That's what partnership looks like. He ain't my leader, I ain't his leader. We're partners. That's it, that's all.
Okay.
Can I answer the cash app?
Which I don't. That's a question, but go ahead. I don't even know what question you answered.
Okay. Yeah. I would say wife is centered around her husband.
Damn, Kay, what you put the baby in the other room?
No, I pay my mother to watch my baby while I'm working. I work from home. So unlike you people who have to send your kids to daycare and all that shit, my kid is here with me. So I can feed him, all that stuff. He's with my mother. He just woke up from a nap and he was upset. That's it. He's centered. He's very much centered.
You wildin'.
I have to explain yourself to these people.
Okay.
Done.
Like I
If
was
y'all want to keep
saying.
paying Franklin, I'm done answering questions because I realize, yes, I do pay my mother because she's on a fixed income. Why wouldn't I pay my mother? That's silly. She drives to my house 30, 40, 45 minutes. Why wouldn't I pay her? I got it like that. How about that? That's why we pay her.
Okay. So what I was saying was a wife is everything a wife encompasses, everything she gains. It's called marital property. There is no hers. Her money is their money. Her property is their property. Her income is their income. Everything in her life. When you get married to a man, you and that man become one entity. So there is no uncentering man and being a wife at the same time. That just doesn't exist.
Really?
When she becomes a nurse, he's not going to become a nurse. Only
Excuse
she's.
me, Maya,
Her income is
one
his.
second, sweetie. 1 second. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. As usual, he's wrong and dumb. Loud, wrong, and dumb. When we say decenter men, we are saying the way we dress, the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we live is not to get a man, right? When we get up in the morning and we put clothes on, it's for us. We are not centering men. Nothing we do. We are not going to school to get a man. We are not living our lives to get a man. That's what we mean by decentering men, you stupid motherfucker. I hate
I agree. And I concur. You have totally decentered man. You don't do nothing for a man. You don't work out. You don't
Nigga,
dress.
suck my dick.
You don't do anything. I got one more. You don't do nothing for a man. I agree. But a wife,
Brooklyn,
a wife.
stop with the verbal insults. Y'all got.
I know she's
the
not
insults
learning.
is
I
cool, but
learned.
I don't want your
don't
panel
make them
to-
sexual. Yeah, don't make them sexual. When you say S my D, like, come on, you gotta chill out.
Yeah, I don't want you. I don't want you to
Yeah.
get banned or anything. Frankly, I'm gonna respect
I'm
you right
sorry.
now. But I just wanted to add. Um, I respect everybody's decision to do whatever works for them in their lives.
Your audio got muffled, K.
Oh, I said I respect everybody's decision to do whatever they want in their lives. I'm just that kind of person. So I would appreciate if y'all respect that about me. Thanks for having me up, Frank.
Appreciate you,
Love
K. Take
y'all.
care. All right.
You know, I'm gonna finish what I was saying, if that's all right. Like I was saying, a single woman
No,
can do
nobody want
that.
to hear what the fuck you
100%.
saying.
A single woman can decenter man, and she can say, "I'm not doing nothing for men. I'm gonna cut all my hair off and I'm doing all that." A wife, no, I can't. It's impossible. Everything she do, 9 times out of 10,
That's not true,
the
sir.
father, the husband is going to have a say so in it, or he's going to approve or disapprove. It's just that's
It's
part, and
not
vice versa.
men.
And
That is not what
if a
we're
man was
talking
going to,
about,
if a
sir.
man is a husband, he's
I mean,
not
she
going
go
to,
right
he's
over
not
his
going
head.
to
Thank you,
just
Abdullah.
go and cut off his hair or his beard, or wear some tight, sassy shit if she don't like it. That a husband and a wife are a team. So how
That
can
is
you be a
not what
wife
we're talking
and
about,
nobody's
sir.
talking to you? Nobody's
But
talking to
that's
you,
not what we're
or talking
saying. I
about
Thank you,
mean,
you.
Lily.
you're so
Excuse
surface
you.
level.
Excuse you.
We are talking
Excuse you.
deeper than
Excuse
surface
you.
level.
Excuse you.
We are talking about
Excuse you.
being a person,
Excuse you.
us as
Excuse
people.
you.
We are
You're
not living our
60.
lives
We're not
for
talking about you.
men.
Excuse you.
The mods cut the comments off. Get the likes up to 45K. I'm not in control of the comments. Mods have decided for whatever reason to cut the comments off. Get the likes up to 45K so we can get the comments back on. The fuck you, let me make this sound. The fuck you mean we? You old as fuck. Ain't nobody checking for you, Otis. What the Cash App said. So,
Oh,
go
shit.
ahead.
Well, like I was saying, a single woman, yes, I believe she has the ability to decenter men and to make all those choices. A wife, absolutely not. You're just trying to join the girls' club and be part of the girls' team. If they're doing that, they can do that. But a wife, absolutely not. You have no room and no position to be able to say, I decenter men when your man is the center of your life, because that is the title wife. I land.
Anyone disagree?
Disagree. Hi,
Okay.
Frank.
What's up, Lynn?
Hi, Len. How you doing today, sweetheart?
Hey, everybody. I'm good, y'all.
Please explain to that dumbass up there what decentering men mean.
Well, let me say this. I disagree with Saul. If a man, even your husband, is the center of your universe, if something were to happen to him, it would leave you obsolete. Like, you're not able to do anything or function. If a man were the center of your universe, everything that he does, you will be worried about it. If he go out too long, if he out with the boys, you can't go out with the boys. Oh, who you texting? What you doing? How you feeling? How come I can't go with you, babe? Oh, you going on a boys trip? I need to go too. Like, if a man is the center of your universe, that means that you cannot do nothing or have a relationship outside of that man. You can't have time with your girls. You can't have friends or anything. So I don't care about being married or not being married. A man being the center of your universe is extremely unhealthy, and it's not how relationships should work. If a man is the center of your universe, that means you have attachment issues, you have codependency issues, and you need to go get that shit checked out, because it's just, frankly put, it's not healthy at all.
Why rebrand focus on yourself by centering quote unquote men? One person can answer that, Cash App. Why rebrand focus on yourself by centering quote unquote men?
Because living in the patriarchy is how a lot of women did not understand that they needed to focus on self. It was relying upon them figuring out how to fit into the status quo and how to obtain things that, for a portion of time in our history, in our recent history, there were certain things you could not do without having a husband or a man's permission or a husband's permission. So it needed to be identified. Also, we have a group of people who are heavily indoctrinated in Abrahamic religions, which is part of the problem, that advises that we put this hierarchy in place that centers men, and a lot of people needed to get unindoctrinated and then be pointed in the right direction about how to move forward from that.
Decentering men doesn't mean we don't like men or don't want to date men or don't want to marry men or even cater to our men. Decentering men means that it's not up to us to dress a certain way to make sure a man doesn't get, corny. It means that we don't have to tone police ourselves so that a man doesn't get upset, right? We don't have to police our outfits, police anything for the sake of a man. That's what we mean by decentering a man. Not that we don't love men or we don't want men. We just decided that it's not up to us to control a man's dingaling, attitude, or way of doing things. It's not up to us. It's up to them to control themselves. That's what we mean by decentering men.
Anyone agree with Brooklyn?
No.
Go ahead.
I agree with her because the best form of relationship is when both people have autonomy over themselves and you have that trust dynamic in your relationship. So again, like she said, if the man has his own autonomy and I'm not worried about what he's doing as far as how he dresses or, what he's spending his money on, as long as it's not stupid. Like, okay, you want to go out with your boys, like have fun, babe. Like, come back later, we gonna chill, we gonna hang out. I think that's
Help me understand when you frame it that way, Lynn. What is the difference between being concerned about it and nagging? Pretty much, you kind of were like, okay, they be like, what are you doing? Why are you going out? Or worried about what he's spending his money on? Like those seems like things that wives are concerned with about their husband, like what he spends his money on, when he's going out with his boys. How long is he going to be out? Like you're saying they shouldn't be concerned with that stuff.
I'm thinking from my point of view, like a healthy point of view, like if I have a budget and I've already set aside money for everything in the month and then I have my fun money, that money is already fun money. So I'm not concerned about what I spend that money on because I've already set it aside. It's already allocated for what I need to do for it or want to do for it. So that's what I mean. Like,
And the lack of trust.
in my relationship,
Why would, if your
I'm
man
not gonna
calls
be.
you, if your man or your girl calls you and says, I'm going out, I'll see you later. Why are you calling them, nagging them? The only thing you need to call them for is to tell you to bring home something, right? I ain't got so and so. Could you bring it home when you get home? I'm not calling my dude 3 or 4 times after he say he going out because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If he going to do something, me calling him ain't going to stop it. Me not calling him ain't going to stop it. I'm not chasing nobody down. You shouldn't have to do that in a relationship.
Okay. Anyone disagree with what you've heard so far?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Respect. Hold on just a second. The person name who starts with M, so Miss, always referencing the YT man's patriarchy. You can respond if you want to.
I'm sure so does your inmate number, but you don't hear me talking about that.
Sounds like the woman named Call Me needs some pimping. Oh, sounds like the woman named Call Me needs some pimping. You can respond.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I need some pimping. Nah, I'm already a player, baby.
Okay. All right. Respect. You were saying you disagree with what you heard. What part do you disagree with?
Basically all of it almost.
Just give me two things you disagree with.
Not checking on your partner when they outside. Like where I'm from, people get smashed all the time. So, all right, say your dude leave at about 7. Like if you don't check on your man between 7 and 1, you heard me? I'ma think you don't care. I ain't lying. If you don't hit me
When
up,
you say
text me up,
smash, you mean harmed or you mean
yeah,
smashing?
yeah,
Like
yeah. No, it's
harmed?
like
Oh,
yeah,
harmed.
home.
Like
Yeah,
oh,
like
like knocked
do
off type. Oh,
type.
okay.
Yeah, facts.
So you saying check
So
in for safety type shit? I think
right.
this is just. I don't think nobody's doing. I think this is now you going to a different. I don't think
No,
that's
I'm
what they
saying
meant. Cause
no, I'm
no, no,
saying
no.
That's what I mean. I'm not gonna call
Yeah,
them all day.
I'm
That's
just saying. I
ridiculous.
think that. Yeah, I thought Smex was smashing too, but I think they are checking on his safety. I think in this example, it's I can't speak for people, so
No,
I don't know.
let me go ahead, Frank, if you don't
Talking
mind.
about he's
No,
I
no,
calling
no.
think
them
We're
out
gonna
the
let
word.
respect finish. Okay, I
Oh, I'm
interrupted him, so
sorry.
let's relax. Go ahead.
yeah, I'm not gonna be feeling that. I'm gonna be like, well, yeah, you heard me, shorty. You know what I'm saying? She probably happy I'm gone if she ain't ever hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Cause certain stuff just expected.
Outside of the
You know what I'm saying?
example, what do you disagree with? Outside of the
Uh,
example.
uh, them
Okay.
talking about they don't dress for attention. Like, if you don't dress for attention, why do you wear makeup to bed and high heels? Do you walk around your house in high heels and miniskirts? So you putting on this attire to
Yeah.
for a reason. You trying to attract something. You looking for something. If it's not, if it's just attention, if it's just oh mama, you look good today. You searching for something when you get dressed.
Okay. All right. Anyone disagree with? Oh, anyone agree with respect on that? Okay. Anyone disagree?
Body with common sense.
Brooklyn got 15 minutes of life left. Center Jesus.
With my 15 minutes of life left, I'm going to throw it back. Yeah, I'm going to have my head hanging off the bed, taking it deep, deep, deep. Okay?
Go
Y'all
ahead.
just mad y'all girl don't know how to hang off the bed. Right? Head off the edge of the bed, taking it deep. Don't be mad my 53-year-old ass know how to do that.
Go
That's
ahead.
fire. I had some
Uh,
of that the other day.
I disagree with
That's some dope
respect.
shit.
Go ahead, LJ.
Yeah, well, I disagree with
Wait,
just
did that shit say she need to center Jesus?
oh wow.
Go
Uh,
ahead. Go ahead.
I disagree with them that just because a woman gets dressed up doesn't mean that she's necessarily seeking attention. Like a lot of us, men and women included, get dressed, we put on cologne or whatever to feel good about ourselves. Sometimes you just get dressed up because you feel like it. Like you get tired of wearing jeans and t-shirts or sweats or whatever y'all be wearing every day, and you want to just step out and look nice. And it's okay that someone from the opposite sex looks your way and acknowledges you. Doesn't mean that they got to be the center of your world. It just means that they saw a good looking man or a good looking woman walking by and happened to take notice. It happens.
Did what I mean by that when I say that. Like I know there have been times where I didn't got fly, and I was like, I'm so cold, somebody gotta see me in this. You hear me? So I know when like a lot of these women are beautiful and they got nice curves and all that kind of stuff. So I know they be wanting people to see them. That's why they wear what they wear. When a woman don't want to be on beam, she not gonna dress a certain way, and I know this.
Okay. Let me ask Millie. Is Melly? Melly, are you there? Okay. Let me ask Ryder. Melly might have some. She's off mute too. Let me go ahead and remove you because I don't know what you got going on. Hello? You good? You might not even know you up here. Ryder, what do you think? You agree or disagree with our respect?
Um, I mean, I agree in some ways because it's like you're not gonna put your fire shit on and stay in the house. Like, you're definitely gonna want to be seen. Like, you're not gonna
What's up,
your hair
baby?
done, your nails done, your lashes done. I don't know, be walking
All
around
right.
in designers like just to be seen in the house. So, yeah, but I'm not gonna say it's necessarily for the opposite sex. It's just for people in general.
Disagree.
So for people in general, so that includes the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Lynn. You said you disagree.
Yeah, hell yeah, I disagree. I put on some fly shit in the house too. Especially if I got a man. Like, come on now, like put on some fly shit. Y'all gotta start walking around the house in that. Put that shit on in the house too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy that y'all don't think that you put some, you lotion yourself down. You know, you put on your perfume, your house perfume, your outside perfume for yourself first and foremost. And for other women, to tell you the truth, because no compliment is more supreme than a compliment from another woman calling you a baddie. So yeah.
Or a G-man, but I do agree.
Okay.
When I go on live, I
Y'all
dress
get
up.
dressed for attention.
I get dressed up. When I'm sitting here and I feel like being cute, I put on something to make myself look cute. It's not for other people, it's for me. Shit, I'm blessing y'all with these big ass gorgeous titties. Y'all should like it. Enjoy it. I'm blessing y'all. God gave them to me to bless y'all. Enjoy the blessing. Stop fucking complaining about them. Men are weird.
I'm not complaining about seeing them. I love them. But I just disagree with what y'all saying and lying to the people. Admit that you get dressed for people to say you look nice. Ain't nothing wrong with wanting to look good.
You're right, other women. But I also wanted to disagree with you with the fact of calling your man and checking on him. You're not calling him means that you don't like him. If you tell me, hey, I'm going bowling with the homeboys, like, and then we're going out for drinks, and like in the middle of you bowling, I'm texting you, asking you what's going on? What did John wear? Oh my God, was the joke that Steve said funny? Like, how much did you spend on bowling? What's going on? Da, 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 da. That is a little excessive. It's giving codependent. And back in the 90s, people in early 2000s, people didn't have cell phones to call and check on their mates all day. So, yeah, me calling and checking on you, even if something happened to you, it's not going to do anything. So I have to have that trust from my partner that when they out, they good. If he wants to check in, hey, I'll be home around 10, I'm going to come in late, whatever the case may be, that's healthy. But excessive
Okay.
calling
Okay.
is
I don't care about
unhealthy.
this example as much. Let me ask my least who answered the question about decentering. Okay. Sums can answer. She's new up here. Sums, what does decentering men look like when you're married?
It looks like making sure you focus on your goals.
Give me just a second. We don't want to hear about that old putty. Yo, you almost made me say it the way you wrote it. That was creative. We don't want to hear about that old vagina. That was creative as fuck. I ain't gonna hold you. You almost got me. Go ahead. You can respond if you want to, but yeah.
Nah.
That you send that cash out, which is going to make us center it. We all have to be quiet because they know you're going to announce it, but you didn't want to hear about it. Seems like you're lying, but I'm just saying.
Okay, if you really want to see it, go to my other page. I got a whole
Find out
nasty.
she got an OnlyFans. Go ahead with it, girl.
Stop playing with me. I actually do. Stop fucking playing with me. You want to see it? Pay for it. Fucking play with me.
Okay. Okay.
Some. Go ahead, KG.
I'm sorry, that's great. I love you, Lilith. No, it just looks like not. It looks like putting yourself first, achieving your goals, not basing your entire life on another person, and still being an autonomous human being, even in the relationship. That's what it looks like. Like, it's not surprising. That's how you have to do it. You guys have to maintain your autonomy. You have to maintain your individuality. And
Okay.
You can't be an individual when you in a relationship.
Yes, you can. That's really dumb.
People have
That's
unhealthy
what I don't understand.
codependency, and it's not a healthy relationship. So yes, to answer your question. Oh, damn! I answered your question.
It
But
wasn't really a question. You just
yeah, but
disagreed.
you have to. You have to be an independent person, because otherwise what you end up doing is making your entire identity that other person.
So
And
you're
then
doing the
you
same
listen.
thing you're doing when you're in a relationship as when you're not in a relationship. You still
No,
focusing on
exactly.
you.
Yeah, yeah,
When you're in
yeah.
a friendship, you're not centering your friend, and you have equally sometimes close friendships. So that would give you an example of how you can have, if you have normal friendships. I can't speak about people who have other weird things going on, but
Because if they say,
Well, it
in
does
a
sound
relationship,
interesting. Hold on, you guys. Let me read the cash app before we break down this conversation. Old cat for sale. Better get y'all some. Yo, wow.
Loving how Lilith, you know your page gonna get a whole bunch of new subscribers because of this shit.
I know, I know,
They
I
want it so
know. I
bad.
love it. I
That's
love it. I
wild.
need to tell them what the page name is.
Hey, no commercials. Hey, listen. Further down this point, Malisa, around what you were saying, how does that look when people get married? Oh no. Let me ask. Let me not ask Malisa. In fact, LJ, what does that look like for marriage when people say getting married they become one, but also the wife will prioritize herself? How does that look?
I don't necessarily think that that's possible. Like this, the becoming one, like that's possible where you're making decisions that are for the benefit of both people, not for one, not for the other, but both.
But
But I don't.
you heard them say that the wife would prioritize herself.
I've heard that, and if we're talking about in specific situations, I can get behind it.
But I
But
thought you
if a,
said decentering men was a good thing, and you would tell all the young men to look for women who
yeah,
are.
so
I'm
for
confused.
me, in my worldview, decentering women, it doesn't necessarily mean that she becomes the priority. It just means that we're equally prioritizing each other. Like again, like it's for the benefit of both of us. It's a partnership. Like
Oh, so you don't
if
agree that a wife who's decentering her husband is prioritizing herself?
I don't think that that's healthy if that's what's occurring. No,
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say
You
that
could further
that's
elaborate on why.
oh,
Be,
okay, sorry.
because if you're prioritizing yourself, then that means that it's at the detriment of that person. In longer term, then that becomes a very unhealthy situation.
That's untrue. That's untrue.
Anyone agree with LJ?
yep,
I mean, I do agree because I am confused how y'all can be like one, but then you're also supposed to prioritize yourself first. I thought those two ideas were mutually exclusive.
No, they're
But
not,
they're
because I'll
not.
explain
They're
it how
not.
this is how it works. Okay. So prioritizing yourself looks like, hey, she's got a career, you've got a career. She's not going to drop her career to focus on your career. You both work on your careers individually. When you're talking about decentering, centering would be her screwing over her career to support your career. That's how that works. That's often what we've seen when people say become one. It's usually the woman who ends up reducing her capabilities
Get the likes up to
and
70K.
focusing on his careers, his needs versus focusing on her goals.
So
So
you
how
feel
that
as
works?
though it's interesting. They should not. Neither one of them should make a sacrifice in their career for the betterment of their marriage.
No, because you don't have to. That's the lie people have been sold. That's a lie.
What makes what that being a lie and what you're saying being the truth?
Okay. No personals, but if you say you have a partner who is going to get an extended degree, like say your wife, husband is going to get their MBA or master's degree, right?
Yeah, Kay was just up here saying that she's in school now and her husband is doing things that is supporting her on a way through school.
Yes. Yes, that is a support.
That's
However,
sacrifice too, though.
it's not exactly if you
Most
know how to
definitely a
play it
sacrifice.
correctly. Not if you know how to play it correctly. Because the way that you can do it without having to sacrifice, both of you making these extensive sacrifices for one another, is by sitting there and going over what that looks like. What is the expectation of that person versus what's the expectation of you? And it's also a kind of a quid pro quo. I'm going to go get this degree when I'm done because I'll be making more money because I'll be able to financially support something else. You go get your shit and I'll handle the other stuff. That's how it
sacrificing.
looks. It's not, but it doesn't feel like a sacrifice when you do it that way.
Well, even if it doesn't feel that way, what you just
And a
described was one
sacrifice,
person.
a sacrifice would be that you're doing it and you don't want to.
Anyone
That's
disagree?
what sacrifice looks like. Sacrifice is doing something
not
that
true.
you don't actually want to truly do, but you're doing it for somebody else's benefit. Doing something that is beneficial for both of you, because that person getting that extended degree is actually going to help both of y'all at the end of the day. At the end of the day, y'all going to be making more money because that person has that degree and it's going
Anyone
to be
disagree with that?
I disagree. I think it's we make trade-offs when we're in relationships, and I mean, regardless who we perceive benefits the most, whether it's the husband or the wife. I mean, both in a relationship, anybody, if you're completely honest, you're going to make sacrifices. There are going to be trade-offs. And it's just a part of being in a relationship. And you do, I guess you can call it out of love or out of wanting our family to go forward. And again, whether that's the wife getting her degree or the husband trying to, climb the ladder at work, or the wife trying to climb the ladder in her particular field, it's going to take sacrifices. And I think we're being disingenuous if we say that that's not true.
It's
It's
the classification.
What you guys are stating is that one cannot exist without the other. That's my problem with all of what you're saying. The thing is, you can prioritize. You can state, this is what we have to do to get to that next level. This is what we have to do as a couple. However, it's not me or you having to sit there in stasis.
I think that's the problem. It's the classification of it being like her parts, that one partner prioritizing themselves. Like that's, like you said, that is a plan that they set down, they agreed to, and then they're executing. That's not that one person prioritizing themselves. Prioritizing yourself is saying, I'm going to do this regardless of what you might want, or regardless of how it might help you or benefit you or to your detriment. You're only considering yourself. That's what part.
I
That's what part
disagree.
is.
No, that is not true.
Say something?
Go
I
ahead.
disagree. Can I let me say something real quick? Not
Ain't
even real
nobody
quick. Let me say
talking.
something. So in a relationship, I think that there's three dynamics going on without kids. Let's say it's you, it's him, and it's the relationship. So decentering looks like not worrying about what's on his page. He worrying about what's on his page. You worrying about what's on your page. And as long as that is of the benefit of the relationship, then that works.
Yes.
So if
Lynn,
I'm worried about my
there's no
husband,
yes to that. That sounds crazy. What do you mean yes?
I
I
don't
agree
see
with
how.
that.
Don't
Frank,
worry
it's
about
not
what's.
crazy
But
though.
It sounds
I,
crazy. Don't worry about what's on your partner's page, and they're not going to worry about what's on my partner's page. Kay, how could you speak up for that? You're not even doing that.
But
Yeah,
no.
that's not a real
example,
relationship.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all completely misrepresented what I
can I give
said
a quick
earlier.
example?
Okay, go
Can I
ahead.
give a
Go
quick
ahead, Kay. I'll let
example?
you explain after because
If
I did say your name. I'll let you explain
Okay.
afterwards. Go ahead, Lynn. Lynn, go ahead.
And well, if I'm in school or my husband's in school, I can't worry about my husband's grades. That's his business. That's on his page. I can only worry about myself.
So I
No,
disagree.
for real.
Appreciate that, Cap.
My
I
disagree, Lynn. If we're in a
go
relationship,
ahead.
if we're in a relationship and you say, "Hey, I want to go back to school and get my master's," there's going to be a time. The sacrifice is going to be time. Your time trying to get a degree, and the time taken away from our relationship, whether we have kids or not. There is going to be a time component that has to be taken into consideration with your partner if you're in a marriage. And it's a sacrifice, and it's something that both will bear some brunt. So I
Well,
don't disagree where you can just think independently. Well, I'm going to go do this, and it's not going to affect my family. That the real world doesn't work like that, in my opinion.
and Lynn, to follow
If
up
it
your example, and I'm gonna let you finish, and then we're gonna go to Kay. If I'm failing biology, that partner becomes the best study partner. They need to be concerned with me failing biology. What
Facts.
does it mean we're together and me failing a class is none of your concern? Sounds crazy to me. But I can respect if you guys view it differently. I'm just saying, yes, my grades aren't her primary concern, but it is of her concern because we would be together. So why wouldn't she be concerned with my grades?
Because that's your
I'm
responsibility.
actually speaking to Lynn and then
I'm
Kay.
sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead, Lynn.
um Well, yeah, KJR is right because that's your responsibility. I'm not going to stress myself out. If your grades are important to you, then I'm going to take a step back because that's on your page and I can't do nothing to change it. I
Okay.
can't force you to study. I can't take the test for you. So if you're not prioritizing it, then baby, do you.
I
I'm not
feel
going to
you.
stress myself out behind it.
Okay.
That's it.
All
So
right.
I guess
That
my
sounds
question
good.
is,
Cash
why
app for
would
questions. Go ahead, Kay.
not
All
facts?
right. So let me go ahead and clear this up. When I made the comment that I don't lift a finger unless I have to, it's literally because my husband came to me and said, "You're about to start school. We just had a baby. What can I do to support you?" The only thing I put on his plate, I was like, if you can help keep it tidy, because I'm a neat freak, but I knew I wouldn't have the capacity to work 40 hours a week, which I do. I've been a nurse for 11 years, go to school full time, which I do. And we just had a newborn. So my baby's 9 months. so
Amazing.
so I'm
But
doing all that, Franklin. And I know you were saying sometimes you can't do it all, but
no, no,
I'm
no.
literally,
I said listen, him coming to you in support is amazing. That's great. He's
yeah.
literally saying, I'm willing to sacrifice for this time period and do whatever it is you need me to do that maybe I wasn't doing before. Whatever you need me to do to help you get through this moment or this time, because I don't know how long you've been in school and how long you got left. But
Mhm.
he's saying, I'm willing to sacrifice this time period.
So
That's
when
almost like what
Investment.
outside of your personal. I was going to ask the example of Michelle Obama saying she didn't like Barack Obama
for
for a
10
certain
years.
time period for like 10 years, which is
But the
wild,
thing
right?
But
is,
it's not a
But in her mind,
sacrifice.
you
it's an
guys think I'm done
investment.
talking, but I'm not.
Sorry.
It's weird because I haven't interrupted you guys. But what I'm saying is, during that time period, they decided, or I guess she decided that she would just stay in there and just not like him for that long. And now I don't know where they're at in their marriage. But I'm just saying, right there, that was a long sacrifice for another person's career. And it seems like if your husband came up to you and said, I want to offer my support while you're going through this period, it sounds like he's willing to make a sacrifice for you, which is not prioritizing himself.
Right. And in turn, what I, because I don't view it as a sacrifice per se, because just like what he values, he likes to go to the gym. He lifts heavy weights. I make sure that I prioritize that for him and I do his meal prep to save him time. So whereas he cleans on Sunday, I do the grocery shopping, I do the meal prep for the week. He makes sure that the kids are bathed before he goes to work, okay, because he goes to work at 6 p.m. And he makes sure that my daughter's dinner is fixed.
Well, no, Kate, that's fire. Did you hear the question that led to all of this discussion and why I even brought your name up, though? I asked, what does it look like for, I was asking LJ and Lynn, they were talking about the wife saying she will prioritize herself. And I said, what does that look like when
Right.
people say they get married and they call themselves one, but you're still going to prioritize yourself?
But
And
but Franklin, the idea of oneness is a biblical thing, right? It's like the two will become one flesh, right? At the end of the day, I don't believe that you have to because what happens is people think when a woman marries, she's supposed.
outside of the biblical sense, I'm going to let you finish.
That's what
Outside
I'm
of the
saying
biblical
because
sense,
because that does
if you
come from
join the
biblical.
roster, you have now became a great player or whatever player on one team. Meaning whatever you want to be is Kobe wants to do is great, but what he has to do for the Lakers would be different. It's almost like, oh, I can keep shooting and scoring because I could do this all day, or I could pass it to Shaquille because he's thinking about trading
To
if I
help you.
don't. You see what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
now becomes prioritize myself, and I could become the all-time greatest scorer. Or we are a team, which makes us one, so it's outside of a biblical sense. So even if you want to say it's a relationship where they decide to become one, it's now like prioritizing yourself sounds wild. That's
Okay.
all I'm saying.
I get what you okay. So in my head, I'm thinking you can't pour from an empty cup. So if I don't take care of me, I'm not able to take care of the kids and do the things that he needs me to do. So in that,
Yeah, but your husband says if we don't take care of you, that's what your husband said. If we don't take care of you,
I
which is a
wanna
good
say
thing. I'm not
this.
shitting on it, but go ahead, Malise. Go ahead.
So I want to say this. Sacrifice is the implication that there's a deficit or a loss when I hear that word. So I understand what your intent is when you say it, but if there's an end goal that cumulatively, when you, especially when you mentioned the sports thing, because at first I wasn't sure if I wanted to say this point, but I did after you brought the teamwork into it. That's a collectivism. And I think that I think that sometimes, yes, we get caught up in the semantics of words, but there are also times when it's important to understand that, do we have a collective goal? And I think that when you have that collective goal, the reason I wouldn't use the word sacrifice, I would use compromise, is because I understand that I'm not losing at this particular point. Like Kay was saying, like KJ was saying, it's an investment into our future endeavors, into making sure that fundamentally we're building on a foundation that's super sound, because both of us have developed ourselves fully, and fundamentally we are on solid ground. So whether our relationship itself stays together, when and if we had to separate, understanding that that's a possibility, that we could grow apart, we're still going to be whole people that are fundamentally able to take care of our children, and ourselves, and that we didn't come out of those relationships with things that we feel like we should have wished and regretting and things like that. So that's why I think the
Why do
words
you
matter.
think, Lisa? Why do you think? I had Ryder up here and LJ agreeing that decentering men is a good thing, and then when it came to the wife prioritizing herself, decentering men, their sentiments changed. Why do you think that is?
Choice of words. I think they would agree with what I just said. An example that I gave.
It
I
was
think
just
which
the
is
choice
a
of words that made their minds.
I do
made them
think
confused.
so.
Okay. All right, LJ, would you agree? It was a choice of words. You're the only one up here. I would ask Ryder, but she's no longer up here.
Hey Frank, I'm gonna get down.
Okay.
There's a live overlap or something. I'm
Okay.
hearing another live.
All right. LJ.
Yeah, I do think it wasn't articulated the best, but I also think that there's a portion of it where we just fundamentally don't agree on like the application of the terms. Like when you talk about oneness, like I mean, you gave a great example of like sports and being on the same team and working towards the same goals, and everything that I heard is an example of that. And so, if you're doing something that is ultimately going to benefit everyone in the long run, like you're not prioritizing yourself. You're just working towards the team's goals.
Okay.
Like,
Let me bring Corey and Puddles into the conversation here. Ask you guys the prompt. Corey, decentering men is a good thing. You agree or disagree?
Only if you're a single woman.
Only if you're a single woman?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. FSU, I never asked you the prompt. Decentering men is a good thing. You agree or disagree?
I kind of lean towards that's a woman's decision. I think if you want,
let's try this again.
yeah,
Decentering men is a good thing. You agree or disagree?
disagree.
You disagree. Puddles, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Let me ask you, decentering men is a good thing. You agree or disagree?
I disagree.
Disagree. Okay. Why? Why, Puddles? Why do you disagree?
For me, I just feel like, women and men, I feel like women should definitely have intention when they're doing things. If your intention is to just be a single woman and just, prioritize your career and your money and your status over all things else, and that's just your intent throughout life, then definitely don't center men. Maybe you're just not a fit to be a wife. You know what I'm saying? But if you are in a relationship, and if you are in a relationship, I feel like the relationship is the core. Everything else is secondary. There are compromises, there are sacrifices that you have to make to sustain that. And if you just completely X the man out and just do whatever you want and make your own decisions without considering the man, that's selfish. If that's the case, you shouldn't be with anyone. You should definitely just focus on whatever, I guess, makes you happy, but don't include anybody else in that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a selfish mindset, in my opinion. Like I said, anything outside of the relationship is secondary. Anything that you want to do should ultimately progress the relationship, and both should be on board. I don't think the man should be X'd out of that completely.
That's the epitome of centering men, though. Everything in a relationship needs to center around what the man wants. That's what the point we're making. Why can't you be your own individual self? This is rhetorical. And he maintain his own identity, and y'all come together like a team and support each other. Why does one person have to give away or give up anything to be in a relationship unless it's harmful to that person? It shouldn't matter. Like, I didn't have to change anything about my life when my husband came into my life. That's why he my husband. Period.
Exactly. Because that's weird. Because think about it. If you're going to do that, if everything is about that, what the shit happens when that man goes? If he unalives, if he decides he wants to trade you in for a new model, then what the shit you got? You have nothing. You don't even have yourself because your whole entire identity has been placed into that man. That is the epitome of being stupid. Selfishness is not wrong. Selflessness is often detrimental to the person who is being selfless. You have to understand that it's okay to be selfish in a relationship as long as it is tempered with understanding that your selfishness should not negatively impact the other person. You have to be able to state, my needs need to be met. My needs need to be met, and I will meet your needs as well. But I cannot meet your needs if my needs are not being met as well. Like, that is just some bullshit. Like, that is the epitome. That is what patriarchy teaches women. To literally be selfless to the point that they do not have any of their needs met. That is stupidity. That's why our grandmamas was burying grandpa up in the yard. Like, that's what happened.
Anyone disagree?
I disagree.
Mean. Like, no one ever said, like, don't prioritize yourself. There are certain things as a woman that you definitely have to prioritize, your mental health. What I'm saying is, no one's saying don't have a degree, don't make money, don't. But my thing is, when you completely X out, what decentering sounds like to me is literally like, I don't care what you say. This is more important than you. What I want to do is more important than you. And the relationship, I'm going to do what I want. That's what it sounds like to me, especially when a lot of women say this, like decenter men. I don't agree with that. I just think if you're in a relationship, anything you choose, a man should definitely be, if you're with someone that you care about, especially if you're married, with the man, things where y'all going, it does matter what he thinks. It does matter with the overall trajectory of the relationship. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Anyone agree with Puddles?
I do.
I agree.
Okay, go ahead. Do y'all barely agree?
Are you talking?
I agree with the sentiment because
They weren't listening because a woman was speaking, which is why we should decenter. But anyway,
Preflo Dollar said when you take yourself out the center of a relationship and make that other person your priority, it makes whatever you do for that person, it makes a reflection back on them. So if they're doing,
Dollar got a damn plane with half of his congregation on SNAP benefits.
So are you being rude and
Don't
interrupting
take
me while
it
I'm speaking?
like that.
So he said,
Plans to the church and getting evicted.
okay, let's not focus on the messenger. Let's focus on the message.
I brought up his name if you didn't want anybody to talk about it.
I brought it up because I was trying to use an example. But if y'all don't want to
So
listen,
you
because
picked a poor
talking,
example. Exactly. A man who didn't listen to that woman who was speaking before him. So.
What the heck?
I did listen because Puddles was the one speaking and I was agreeing with what she said. So I was listening.
More time going back and forth with me to actually giving your point, but go ahead.
I'm not going back and forth because you interrupted me, man. We're on a panel. We're having a discussion.
Go ahead.
So if you take yourself out the center, man.
KGR, practice what she preach. She's selfishly always on TikTok and never around her man. He probably miserable.
Oh, that's sweet.
Damn, I did not mean to read your name. Fuck.
I'm miserable. He got you to worry about him in the cash apps. Go, Frank. Get money.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you guys are so worried about my husband as he's very happy. So whatever.
Go ahead, Corey.
As I was saying, man, when you take yourself
The audio
out,
is kind of low, though. Like,
Oh,
if
that's
I was
'cause
on
I'm
the
making
panel, I
all
would
this-
speak over you, too.
Yeah, I'm just not trying to be all loud and stuff. But if you're trying to be in a relationship, if your priority is taking care of somebody else's needs, if you're trying to be in a relationship, if you're trying to be in a relationship, your priority is taking care of that other person so well that even if they're not doing their end, it reflects on them. And then you have to make a choice from there, whether or not you choose to stay or not. But if you're prioritizing somebody and they are also prioritizing you, that's how you keep the relationship going. That is the give and take of it. That's the sacrifice that you have to do. Because if it's all about you, then what you in a relationship for?
How do you know?
Why can I use a personal?
Wait, let me double check and see if you can. Oh, but yeah, you actually can.
I
You
mean,
don't need my
because
permission.
I know you say no personals, but
You're
I
subscribed.
didn't.
Subscribers can use personals.
Okay, well, I didn't prioritize a woman, and I saw how it affected my relationship because I didn't prioritize her because I was being selfish. So that relationship ended, and I learned my lesson from that relationship on how to prioritize somebody, even if I don't agree with how they feel. That's the sacrifice and the compromise I had to make. So in tune, I took that information that I did incorrect in that previous relationship, and I carried it over to my marriage. Plain and simple.
Anyone
And
disagree?
typically,
Oh, go ahead, Lynn.
I disagree. Typically, Corey, the reason why the statement isn't for women is because the men already have the women decentered. The man is already at the center of his own universe. Men prioritize their careers, they prioritize themselves in relationships. So, yeah, facts. So typically, that's
Not
why
facts.
a man, okay. Typically, that's why a man should center the other person in the relationship, or at least at the bare minimum, pay attention to the relationship or what's conducive to the
You
relationship.
said the man should censor the
What
other
you said
person?
about center the relationship, I went back and said just center the relationship was conducive, because the women typically, there's two roles. Like I said, there's three roles: him, her, and the relationship. The women know how to balance the relationship and tend to be focused on him too, so that leaves her untaken care of and her needs unmet because she's focusing on him and the relationship. So decenter men just literally means focus on yourself a little bit more and the relationship, but the relationship is also to the benefit of him, not to the detriment of yourself as a woman. And men walk around saying that women need to come into a relationship, especially Christian men, and be a man's helpmeet, to be with him and live up to his expectation and his goals. That's the reason why we need to decenter them, because I am not your help meet to you and your accomplishments in life. I have my own. I'm your partner. I have my goals, your goals, and our goals. Like, I'm focusing on mine and ours. You need to focus on yours and ours.
It sounds like you're describing a toxic relationship, because not all men are like that. Yeah,
Thank
not
you.
all men are not all men are like that. You
historically.
know, you said men tend to just focus on themselves and their career, and they don't
Hold on,
prioritize.
Hold on,
I don't think that's necessarily fair.
All right, you
It's not
guys.
all, but it's
Hold on.
a majority.
Mute up. Thank you guys for getting me to 80K likes. I appreciate you. Let's go ahead and get to 100K. I'm not going to mess with the comments. I'm not going to turn this. Oh, damn, I had stuff. Yeah, my bad about that. We're going to keep sub chat only off as long as we make it to 100K in a timely fashion. My bad, y'all. I ain't going to lie. I be forgetting. And the mods don't remind me. None of the subscribers remind me. My apologies, everybody who's been tapping the screen. I appreciate your energy. Please continue to do so. What's up, Moni? What's up, though? Go ahead.
I'm gonna say that I don't
Go
speak in
ahead, Puddles.
generalizations, ma'am.
Yeah. Like, it sounds like you're describing a man that can't lead, that can't prioritize his work and prioritize his woman at the same time. That's the kind of man I hear that you're describing, and that's most likely a toxic relationship. And if you're encountering a lot of men to come to that consensus of what you think of a lot of men, maybe you're just in the wrong dating pool. Maybe you just choose wrong, to be honest.
Maybe we should just also point out the fact that you just literally said a man
Photos
that
with the
couldn't
drip.
lead.
Photos with the
Honey,
drip.
honey,
Wait,
when did men ever
Hold
need
on,
to?
subs. Let's let Lynn respond. Go ahead, Lynn.
I just want to say that you assuming that I'm in that relationship because I made a statement about the general public is kind of myopic of you to think that I can make a statement just based on the situations that I've had in my life. It shows how the lack of intelligence that you have. But yeah, no, I wasn't speaking of my point of view. I was just generally speaking. Also, I don't think that all men are anything because that would be ignorant of me to think.
If you say so, I guess I'm low intelligent, low of intelligence.
I
Sure,
love that
you
you
say
agree.
so.
Oh, yeah, you are.
If you say so, I mean, sure.
I just find it
You
interesting
can have
that
any
someone.
I mean, if it's free speech, you can think and say what you want to say. It's America.
Of course, yes, it's America, but here's the problem. First off, expecting a man to lead in anything when you are supposed to be in a partnership is very interesting. It's also excessively interesting to think that in order to allow a man to lead in quotation marks, one must remove their autonomy. One must actually have to be something completely different and bow down to their bullshit. Like, that's dumb. You can prioritize yourself and also understand that the relationship is a priority as well. That's no different than stating that if you have kids, you can't prioritize your relationship. That is literally the exact same thing you guys are saying. That one, if, oh, you're a parent, therefore your whole identity should be a parent and you have nothing else to do and your whole goal should just be parenting. No, you can be a parent as well as an individual. Your parenting does not take away from the fact that you are still an individual, and your identity should not be wrapped up in the fact that you just happen to birth some kids. Like, that is not how that works. And you are literally making a dichotomy when it doesn't need to be. It should be a partnership. It should be a goals-oriented group where each person is their own person. What is so wrong with that? That is the part that gets me, is that y'all don't seem to understand you can be multiple things at multiple times. That's part of being a human. And that is just asinine. But I'm going to throw it to BPG because she has the words.
Really quick. I just want to respond to that. I just want to respond to that. So my whole talking point on this topic is literally, if I'm in a marriage, personal, which I am, really quick, little personal, which I am. Anything I do, work-wise, money-wise, I think about how anything, any type of job opportunity, any type of anything, I think about how it would affect the relationship first. The priority to me is the relationship, is the marriage. Anything outside of that is secondary. That's not to say I'm not motivated, or I don't have intelligence, or I don't have a degree, or I can't do this and can't do that, or I'm bowing down to BS. First of all, I'm not in a relationship with someone who even entertains BS or even has BS going on. Everything is straight. You know what I'm saying? Everything is cool. And I think it's great to be led by someone who can actually lead and has proven themselves to lead a relationship in the right way and has never stirred me wrong. So wherever you're getting that from,
I'm very happy that you found another parent, honey. I'm glad you found a parent.
Okay, anyone agree with Puddle's take on that?
I feel like
I'm driving. Okay.
I couldn't type it out because I'm driving, so I wanted to
Why would you say that? Why would you say that? This is not the place to say that. Yeah. Go ahead, Flashy.
Hypothetically.
Yeah, I agree because.
Go ahead.
Can I ask my question?
Oh, you had a question. Oh, go ahead. Sure.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Oh, that's what you meant. You couldn't ask a question. You could just put have a question. That's it. That's what.
Okay, my bad.
All right. You good. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Okay. Hold on. Shout out to LA traffic. I'm in LA. I'm going to get my hair done. Shout out to me. Anyway, let me get to my question. Puddles. Congratulations on your marriage. It's funny because the last conversation that we had, you were saying if hypothetically I was married and now you married.
Because we couldn't go personal.
Shout out to shotgun courthouse marriages, but I don't think you're married. But that's
I
all I
don't even
wanted
have
to
my
say.
actual name on any platform for you to find that out, which is crazy.
You literally said last conversation we
Normally.
had, you was like, if I was married, if I was married, if I was married. You kept saying if I was married. And we were making fun of you for having a hypothetical marriage that you were speaking on. But now you're
Because I
married. But
wasn't trying to go personal.
congratulations, boo boo. No.
Sure.
Congratulations. Or are you not married? That's funny.
Okay, I already said I was. So now
Okay, I
what?
don't believe you.
Flash the ring.
I mean,
Was that your
it's not
question?
for you. It's not for you. I mean, that's what they do when a woman is married on here. They try to pick it apart. They try to go on the pages. They try to go through courthouse to try to see. Mind you, my name
Not
ain't even
not
on my
true.
platform
Not true.
right here. So
BPG married,
it's
KGR
cool.
married. I love their marriages.
That's great. That's
Shout out
great.
to
That's
your
great.
spiritual marriage. I love that for you.
That's crazy how they try to pick apart married women every time. I mean, I wonder what that is. It's like it might be a deep rooted type of issue or something like that. But that's cool.
Try to pick apart liars, and I know you lying.
I mean, you know me, right? Since you know
Mentirosa.
me, I don't know you. We probably don't live in the same city, so it's find that hard to believe, but it's cool. Anyway, I don't gotta like prove myself to anybody on any type of platform. I said what I said. So now what? Now
Go
what?
ahead, Flashy.
Said a lie.
But yeah, I agree with Puddles because a lot of times these women be speaking just from what Lynn said, right? She said that's not her experience, right? So a lot of times they're just saying things that sounds good to say because she's never personally experienced any of this, but somehow has all of this information about all of these toxic dudes that put their self first. It just doesn't make sense because the whole saying of happy wife, happy life is literally guys centering women. But to say that guys are not doing that just does not make sense at all. It's like they're just talking
It
to
does
talk.
make sense because the
Can I
marriage
finish?
rates
Can I
prove
finish? Can I
that.
finish? Can I finish?
Duh.
Can I finish? Can
I
I
mean, the
finish?
divorce
Can I
rates
finish?
prove
Can I
that.
finish? It doesn't prove nothing. It doesn't literally proves nothing. It just proves that women are
Divorce rates
selfish.
prove that they're right.
It proves women are selfish. That doesn't prove anything at all. Literally, that's what it proves is that women are selfish.
Women are leaving happy marriages for the fuck of it, right?
I'm not gonna answer your
Do
question because that
not.
was
Yeah. Do not.
you feel me? But the whole point is that's all that proves. But the fact that she says she doesn't experience that, that's not her everyday life, but somehow has the most to say proves that Puddle is right. All they know is toxicness. All they know is negative relationships. All they know is abusive men. They don't know no healthy dude because healthy dudes tend to stay away from women that have this idiotic mindset of thinking that all men are a monolith. Like it's crazy how they can give women grace and think only nothing but positive thoughts about women, but when it comes to the man, somehow he's the evil person. It just doesn't make sense. It's not based in reality. It's simply based on fear. And that's all they speak from is a place of fear. Yeah, I need to seek therapy. That's it.
Anyone disagree?
I do. If men were, if healthy men look like you, then yeah, stay the fuck away from me.
I look better than you. Like you round faced ass little girl.
I didn't mean looks,
Better than
you
a woman is
idiot.
not a flex.
I didn't mean looks, you pendejo. I literally mean how you act and how you talk, not your physical appearance. Are you dumb? And that's not a question. I already know you are.
Anyone disagree with Flat? Oh, go ahead, Serenity. You just got up here. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you're doing well. The prompt we're doing right now is decentering men is a good thing. You agree or disagree?
I agree with that.
Do you agree?
With a caveat. With a caveat.
Oh, with a caveat? Well, you can give your answer after you tell me if you disagree with what Flashy said.
Yeah, I pretty much always disagree with what Flashy has to say.
Do you really, though?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I mean, I thought that was nothing but personal attacks and glazing of Puddles, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. If that's all we know, leave us alone. Decenter men. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so listen, I think when women are single, they should decenter men. They shouldn't be so worried about getting a man. Like that be your first focus in life is to get a man. You know, do you have anything that you want for yourself, or is your entire existence surrounded by this imaginary man that you haven't even gotten yet. I understand women in marriages or in relationships centering their man. I mean, that makes sense. You should be centering him just like he should be centering you. If you're ready to wash his back, he should be ready to wash yours. So I don't see it as an issue within a relationship unless it's like toxic or it's one-sided. But when you're outside of
So
a relationship,
you agree with Puddles, pretty much.
oh, I don't know. I don't want to.
I ain't gonna lie. What I heard you say, if you had been here, I don't know if you have, but everyone
I
was saying
haven't.
how. Okay, well, go ahead. I'll let you finish and see if anyone.
Dang, I hope not. I hope not.
I'm gonna let you finish and then see if anyone
Dang.
disagrees with you.
I want to be quiet right now.
Nah, you said what you said. That was your caveat. That was your caveat. You already said what you said.
No, but that's I mean, that's how I look at it. I mean, in my opinion. I do not think that women outside of relationships should be centering men. I mean, that's how you become the pick me of all pick me's. Like,
But say
that's how
the
you
women who are
become-
in a relationship should center men, but the women who are outside should not.
yeah, that's
How you
what
get
I
them
think.
then?
Because you don't have to center. You don't have to center a man to get a man.
No, but you're gonna do it when we're together. So if you didn't do it before we got together, but now we together, you gonna center me?
Yeah, because I'm not thinking about like, in my opinion, centering someone is making them your focus.
Okay.
Okay.
You're
And
saying
so if I'm single,
you should only do
my
that if we're
focus-
together.
Yeah, like
Okay.
or I like you, like we're going towards a relationship. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna center you. I'm gonna focus on you.
Not Mr. Ashy, sassy, flashy, comparing himself to a woman physically. What a joke. I ain't gonna lie. That was a good round.
Can I respond to that?
You most definitely can. You could always respond to the cash apps.
Hey man, it probably was a big back warrior talking that crazy ish. I'm pretty sure the person that said it looked just as bad as they ugly ass mamas.
All right. Go ahead. Who agrees?
Hey, I
Oh,
agree
go
with
ahead.
her because we literally said the same thing, like you were pointing out, Franklin. You should center, and that's not to say your man shouldn't center you either. Like, but you should center if you're in a relationship, center the man, and your man should center you as well. Y'all should just both be watering each other, and everything, you know, career wise, you know, it should be talked through, especially if you're living together, if you're married, things matter. You know, I just can't go off on a limb and just do whatever I want, you know,
Okay.
and not consider who I'm with.
Let me hear from BPG and LJ. LJ, what do you think? You agree or disagree with what you heard so far?
I'm gonna hold you, bro. I wasn't paying attention. I just picked my kid up.
All right. Go ahead, BP. You agree or disagree with anything you've heard so far?
I disagree with Serenity's take, and I think she kind of touched on why I disagree because of the fact that she said it, when you're not in a relationship, you don't center a man because you're focusing on yourself and you know you're doing things for yourself. But when you get into a relationship, now you center him, and you know the common phrase. What she's saying sounds like you negate those things that you were doing before you met him, which doesn't sound like it would be, you know, conducive to you being a fully autonomous person. Because if you could do those things outside of a relationship, but now you can't do them, like, you have to know that the correlation is that he's either hindering you from doing those things, or you're hindering yourself from doing those things. But I think decentering men is a
Could that
much.
be a good thing? Though?
What?
The scenario in which you said the person's sacrificing something because of the relationship, and knowing that if they weren't in a relationship, they would be behaving differently.
I mean, I think that that's a case by case basis. It could, for sure, it could be a good thing, but again, it's contingent on whether or not that person has you as the center. If that person doesn't have you as the center, then it won't ever work. It's the same reason why, and I'm sure we use this example a million times, but it does apply.
Mods, pay attention. Hold on for me.
Yeah.
I gotta look for something. Mods, pay attention to whatever you see and hear. I'm not gonna speak on it, but I'm looking for it myself. Make sure nothing's out of pocket in my comments. If you can, mods, mute and block anything you see that's out of pocket, because I'm hearing something. I'm not really seeing it though. Go ahead, BP.
Can
Finish your
Yeah.
can
point.
I say something else? Because that's not what I meant, BPG. I'm not saying that a woman should like take her focus off of her. I'm not saying that.
I'm not
I'm
saying you
saying,
saying that. It just sparked the thought in my head.
oh, but you said agree
Yeah,
with
no,
me.
y'all. Let's let her land her point.
No, I'm just kidding.
Let's let her land.
But yeah, it's the same concept as the whole airplane thing. You know, you put your mask on first, and the other person puts their mask on first. In an ideal world, like, yeah, it would be great if you're sitting next to somebody who considers you, and they put their mask on you, and then you put your mask on them. Now everybody is still breathing. But is the likelihood that, you know, people will continuously encounter people who are like that, is that high? Yeah, it's, you know, you run the risk of that. And I think that that's what happens a lot with women in relationships. Like, everything that we do already in the world is centered around men. When you talk about religions, most of the gods are seen as men. When you talk about education, most of the professors and the people who are contributing to knowledge is men. It happens in medicine. Like, it happens across the board. So you can be in a relationship and not have that person at the center, and that still be a healthy relationship. Because if they're at the center, then that means you're not. So you're outside of the center of your own world. Like, that's, it's kind of weird to me.
They literally have no proof of their ideology working. Like, they have no proof of basically not centering the men in any way, shape, or form being productive. Like, there is no proof that this works. Like, it's like it sounds good. It's like when people have let me finish. It's like the idea when people say, let's just end all wars. Let's just end world hunger. It sounds good, but in reality, we've never had that point in time ever. It just sounds great to say, but in reality, none of that is true, nor does it work.
That's not true.
A non-married man is telling two married women and the third who just dropped that their idea of marriage or relationship doesn't work, and they the one who married. I just find that laughable.
And that's also
They don't respect their husband.
Hold on, Flashy. You can respond afterwards. Thank you guys for getting to the live goal. I appreciate you. And like I said, Maz, please pay attention. Make sure nothing crazy going on in my comments. They already been hitting me. So please pay attention. If you can, mute and block those who have the ability to do so. Do what you need to do. If you see something wild, go ahead. Flashy, go ahead.
But yeah, these women will marry anybody that will take them and act like they respect their man. The fact that the way that they talk, you can tell they clearly do not respect their man. So I would not care about what they're talking about. I don't care if they're married or not.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to respond to that other part that he said that there was no proof of that.
Okay.
Because there is plenty of proof of that. When we look at cancer research in and of itself, when they stopped decentering men and started looking at how women were affected by BPAs, it saved thousands upon thousands of lives, because now we know how harmful those things are to the body. Like, that is a form of decentering men. And I think that people hate this word because people use it on TikTok so much, but it is true. It's gaslighting to make the assumption that, you know, oh, well, the reason why they have this issue is because they just don't like men. It's just because they don't respect their husbands. And 9 times out of 10, like, that's usually not the case. It really is a matter of how are we looking at the world? How are people affected on a broader basis? And how can we make these things better? If men are 90% of the research, if men are 90% of, you know, of any topic or of any subject, and you want to move towards making that more 50-50, since 50% of the world is men and 50% of the world is women, then that means that you have to be more inclusive of women, and that means shifting men from the center more to the either right or left. But that means that half of the right side is all men and the left side is all women, as opposed to it being literally men are the center and women just kind of catch whatever they catch on the end.
Another make-believe talking point, because let's be real, that will never be a thing, right? We will never have a day in time where all fields will have 50% men, 50% women. So, like, another talking point that is just based on words.
You just sat there and she was talking about the world population, and you sound stupid. And I'm going to tell you why you sound stupid.
Can I finish my point, though?
At this point in time,
Can I finish my point, though? Can I finish my point, though? Can I finish my point, though? Can I finish my
What are
point
you
though?
guys trying to say?
Because you're not that important to be talking
Because
this crazy.
you're not
You're
smart.
not that important.
You're not smart.
You're not that important. I promise you. Thank you.
I love that. I love that for you. I love that you think that
Go
you have to
entertain your husband, darling.
My husband's at
Relax,
back to school
relax,
night.
relax,
My husband's
relax,
at back to school night.
relax. I could tell you don't respect that man, but over here you definitely gonna respect me. I promise you. I'm
No
not your
one's going to
husband.
respect you.
I'm
I
not your
understand that
husband.
your mother
I'm not
didn't love
coddling your
you. I know
feelings.
that your father was
I'm not
gone.
coddling my
I
father.
know that you
That's
are
crazy.
single. I know
My
that you
my
are sad, but that is on you.
Oh, the projection be hitting when it actually applies in real life, but it don't. That's
What
cute.
do you mean?
Been projecting the whole
I've been
time.
married for 45 years. I know
That's
that
cute.
that's
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
weird flex on you.
I don't care to make this about you. I don't care to make this about you. We're having a general conversation. I don't care about you. But anyways, another talking point. I'm talking about centering men and if most
LJ, mute
majority of
up.
men are
What makes you think we want to
exactly.
hear your puppy right now? Like
Oh,
you
my
just
bad, my
unmuted. It's
bad.
not.
I thought I was muted.
Okay, go ahead.
What kind
But
of
yeah,
puppy? Sorry.
but yeah, the whole point is like that will never be a thing. Like to wrap it all up, because someone's got something to say. It will never be a thing, and we know it will
Do
never be
you
a thing because
disagree with the point made?
yeah, I don't agree because I
And
don't
what
believe
was the
that
point made?
the whole point that we need a decentering because it would because most things are basically guy centered, right? It's catered to men. If we shift the focus to pay attention to women, it would help women long term, right? Overall, which means in
Flashy.
medical field.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
That's what
go
I'm
ahead,
saying.
Gary.
In the example provided, it was about cancer research.
I ain't gonna lie, that was a great example she used. I couldn't beat that one. You feel me? But she picked that specific example for a reason though, because we talking about relationship. She took it to the cancer. I give her that. You feel me? I'm gonna concede my point to that one.
So you don't disagree with her.
That talking for nothing.
She made her own point though. She made her own point. That was in my initial point. We're talking about relationship. She switched it to cancer. So she gonna win her own
Well,
argument. That was never my
you
argument.
asked. The thing is, you asked. Well, you didn't ask, but you stated that there was. You led us there. You really said there were no proof. You asked. So in a sense, you guys are doing a thing where y'all just saying I haven't seen or I don't know, and I respect it. Finding a way around asking questions. I've seen it done 100 times. I'm not even gonna call y'all out on it. It's cool, but asking the question of showing me proof. And you didn't really give them an area where they had to show proof at. You didn't say relationships. You just said proof in which decentering men. And so, an example was
No, that's valid. That's valid. That's why I had to concede to that.
That's why
That's why I had to concede to that. Because the cancer thing was valid. I was like, damn, that was good. I respect it. I ain't mad about it.
All right. Anyone else disagree with BP?
You just made the point I was going to make is that they moved the conversation away from what we were talking about. So yeah, but you beat me to the punch. So
Well, what were you going to say about what we were just talking about?
no, that we were originally like the last 35, 40 minutes of the conversation was around relationships.
Mr. 100K likes. I appreciate you for tapping the screen. Keep doing so. I'm going to turn off sub chat only. Go ahead.
And then in the last 5 minutes, we moved the conversation away from relationships to make the point around other areas where, decenter men was beneficial. So I'm going to take it back to what we were originally talking about, and that relative to relationships, I don't think one partner deciding to prioritize himself above their partner is helpful or beneficial. So
Why do you think,
I still stand on that, but
why do you think there may be women fighting for that point?
because I think it was Lynn that made the point earlier. I hope she's still up here, but I think Lynn made the point earlier that men do it like we just innately do it. Most men, and especially in our younger years, we are worried about ourselves, worried about our careers, worried about getting to the gym, worried about hanging out, worried about playing the game, worried about everything but our woman. So
really,
yeah, she's right. So I think women are trying to level.
Speak for yourself, LJ.
I was about to
Speak for
say
yourself.
that sounds very interesting.
I am. I know I was.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's talk
I'm one
about
of
in
those
general.
guys.
You think most men are not women centered at a young age? Not you right now. You agreed with Lynn
There's a
about the
difference
life
between.
of. Let me finish. You agree with Lynn about what the life is like for a young man. That's interesting. You can speak. That's interesting. That young men aren't focused on women. Like they don't prioritize focus on women. Your audio is trash. Your audio is trash. Your audio is trash, LJ.
While he's getting his audio together,
Yeah, just mute up, brother. Just mute up.
yeah, once he gets his audio together, I'll be quiet. I wanted to say something though because
Go ahead.
because
Hold
what
on,
I
you gotta
said
mute,
is,
man, before she can even tell. Yeah,
I
thank
don't
you,
know if he can
Mod.
hear you though because his signal is bad.
Oh, I might have to drop on that because I can't even listen to that shit right now. It's not muting either. All right, go ahead, BP.
And what I said is relative to relationships because if you remember, because I've been listening for a while. Earlier it was said that women who are married can't decenter men because they're in relationships. You can decenter even if you choose to make your relationship the center of your life, in your career, in your education, and other relationships that you have. You can make the choice to not decenter men in your life because your topic doesn't say decentering men in relationships is a good thing. It says decentering men, period, is a good, like, that's the basis of the topic. So when you talk about different ways that you can decenter men, it doesn't necessarily even have to do with your relationship. Your relationship is always personal, whether it's good, bad, ugly, or otherwise. If you have a terrible relationship at home with your spouse, that's not necessarily ever going to affect me. Now, if you center men in your career and you're a doctor or you're a nurse or you know what I mean, you're a restaurateur or whatever, then that will affect me directly. But if you center a man in your own personal relationship, who cares? I could disagree with it, but what am I gonna do about that?
So you're saying one is more important. Anyone disagree?
Really, I'm just saying that it's possible.
More words. It's possible, but she ain't never seen it.
It's okay. I'm not Rocco. You don't have to be upset with me. This is proven in many scholarly articles and books. I'm not gonna do the book thing today. I refuse to do it because I am a firm believer that y'all just waiting for me to slip. But
okay, Serenity, I haven't heard from you enough. What solutions, because around what they were speaking on, what solutions have come from decentering? And y'all can do, I don't care where you go with it. You can go relationships or in life, whatever. What solutions have come from decentering men?
Self-respect for one. I think some women don't have self-respect, and it's exhibited in how much they center men, in my opinion. So yeah, I think that's a good thing. That's what you're asking, right? What's the solution? What is a solution that has happened, from decentering men?
Cash out for questions.
Right?
Cash out
Yeah,
for
okay.
questions.
Well, I just wanted to make sure I was answering the right question. But okay. So that's my interpretation of what you said. And so that's one example. And then a second example would be I said self-respect.
Self-respect. So I
Love.
was told the other day on this live that most women are male-centered. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I do think they are. I do.
So most women lack self-respect.
Yeah, I do think so. In a sense, they do. They do. They
Okay,
do.
I'm not saying. I'm not.
I know.
I
I
hear
hate
you.
to say it too, because I love my girls. I love women. Like my favorite people are women.
But they don't respect themselves.
No, I think that they will exhibit
Well, how can other people respect
for
their
themselves
Okay.
sometimes behind centering men. Yes.
Okay. The males being male-centered is where they're lacking the self-respect. Who agrees with Serenity on that? Most
I
women.
do. I
Okay,
do.
go ahead. Go ahead, Sums.
Okay, so because of society and how women are raised, we are automatically taught to be male-centered. We are taught to prioritize men's comfort, their needs, and their wants above our own. We even have to consider their feelings and how they deal with everything before we approach anything. Think about how we're told how to don't jog at night because you don't want some man to follow you. Think about how girls are taught, oh, if a boy hits you, he likes you. So you're not supposed to get mad at him. You're supposed to just take that on. Women, girls, especially, and women are taught to prioritize men's feelings above their own. We're supposed to be selfless. That's why I despise that whole term selfless when it comes to women. We are taught to always prioritize a man's needs above ours and to also prioritize their wants above our. And we really do. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. Even when BPG brought up the cancer research, think about it from this perspective. I always bring this up. The fact that it wasn't until 2 years ago that they just discovered that women's heart attacks don't look the same as men's. That everything that they put on all of those little, oh, these are the warning signs of a heart attack. All of that documentation was focused on men, not on women. So women were unaliving at an insane rate from heart attacks because they had no clue how women respond to heart attacks because they didn't prioritize us. Think about how that makes you the ultimate idiot and how that shows a lack of self-respect when
I
you
always
can't
thought everybody had the same response to a heart attack, though.
Oh, actually they do, because it turns out women can't even feel the pain from a heart attack because what they consider no because sir
medically that is not true, ma'am. Medically that is not true, ma'am.
Sir, am I talking? I think I'm
Not really.
speaking. I'm
Talking
telling you something
nonsense.
because they literally just did a study, my guy, and they showed that the way that women identify the pain that comes from a heart attack for women is no different than our menstrual cramps. So it doesn't even hit
So you know a
us
woman
the
who had a heart
same.
attack?
Yes, I do. My
Excuse me,
mother.
no questions. No
Yes,
questions.
yeah, my mother. And so that's why she didn't even know she was having an effing heart attack because it hit her no different than having an effing menstrual cramp. That is the type of research that happened. That's why so many women were unaliving from heart attacks because, again, the pain doesn't register the same. Men's pain is prioritized. That's why when you guys go in to get your little vasectomy, they give y'all real pain medication. When a woman goes in to get when they do our uterine tests and they have to actually take a piece of our uterus out, they give us nothing. They tell us to take ibuprofen because our pain is not seen the same. The reason women were unaliving in childbirth at insane rates is because, again, men did not believe women when we were having kids. That's why our infant mortality rate actually started decreasing when they started listening to what women were saying. That is an impact on society when kids aren't unaliving when you're trying to birth them because you actually listen to the people who are birthing them. That is the type of shit that actually hits society. And those are the things that we do.
Who also agrees that women lack self-respect?
I agree to a certain extent. I think it's more self-esteem and self-respect. And I think when women stop decentering men and they focus more on themselves and what they like and what they want and actually put more into them and figure out who they really are, they'll gain more self-esteem. The way we treat people and the way we let people treat us is all about how we feel about ourselves. So when a woman's self-esteem is low, she's going to center somebody, male or female, in the center of their world to make them feel a certain type of way.
Anyone disagree? You guys all agree. Okay, how else does that show up? Or what's the solution? Outside, okay, decentering men. Lynn, is decentering men the solution for women's lack of self-respect?
I don't think that is the only solution, but yeah, it's part of the solution. Another solution to me would look like centering mental health and centering education and centering other things in your life, like financial struggles or any area in your life you need to grow.
Can you center more than one thing at a time?
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
asking Lynn.
Yes, you can.
Okay, Lynn. So
Yeah, I say yeah.
should a man be in your list of censoring things?
You're in a relationship with that person,
All
yes.
right, I'm asking you guys.
Relationship with that person, yes, he should be censored. But if you're not in a relationship with someone and you're just dating someone, you need to be
Kelly,
someone
he's
who.
It's
trying to
fine.
talk to
No, it's
Lynn.
fine. It's fine. I'm listening now. I'm
I
listening.
apologize. I didn't.
No,
I
no,
didn't.
no. It's fine, Shelly. Let me understand what you're saying. If you're in a relationship, you should censor your partner, but if you're not, then you should censor yourself.
Absolutely, because when you're in a relationship, you're no longer just about yourself, you know. But when
So,
you're not in a relationship, you should.
do you believe married women can decenter men? Why mute up?
A married woman only has one man to focus on, so it's not totally censoring men. You know, when I think of censoring men, you're trying to get more attention from more men, and that's the purpose of that's your goal, to try to attract men to be, you know, what a man wants for you to have. You know, when you're married, that is your censor, because you're censored together.
Just be yapping, gang. They just be yapping.
I'm sorry,
What?
but your focus is not attracting men. That should never be your complete focus ever in life. Focusing on trying to, oh, I gotta get a man. That's centering a man. Even as a single person, that's centering a man. Your goal should not be focused on, I got to get a man, because that's how we get pick-me's. That's how you get bitches that end up in these shitty ass relationships that end up, oh, well, my husband doesn't remember our
I
anniversary
call the women a
and
B
he
word.
puts his hands on me and blah 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 blah. That's how you end up like that.
Well, couldn't people say that you're speaking from a place of privilege? What do you say to the woman who wants a relationship like yours but has been single for maybe 4 to 5 years?
Keep your standards. Like, I didn't fall into a relationship. Like, and I say this, yes, I do have a place of privilege. I do. And I don't think it's just a privilege. Like, I'm married. Yeah, I'm married.
No, I mean that is well, if that, I'm saying this is from a person who wants one. I said this is a young lady
If you
who
want a
wants one,
relationship,
and she's been single for 4 to 5 years. To her, your position would look like a privilege, and you're saying don't even worry about this. But you're already in your situation, so that's why I'm asking. Like, what do you say to young people, men and women or whatever, who want the relationship, who want the marriage last longing, but they don't have anything and haven't had anything for the past 4 or 5 years? That's
okay,
not a
so
privilege.
what I would tell you,
A successful. Okay, let's say some. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm responding to comments. I'm gonna let you respond. But if she's in a successful marriage and somebody wants one, that's not a privilege. Let me ask the comments. That's interesting that I saw that comment that's not a privilege. If you have a Lambo and I want one, how is that not a privilege that you have one? We all don't have Lamborghinis. So
There's such terrible lies. I'm sorry.
smiley face if you think that a healthy marriage is a privilege, and sad face if you don't think it's one. I'm just interested to see what the audience thinks. Go ahead, Sums. You can respond.
So the way that I look at it, yes, I do. I acknowledge my privilege because I have more than one privilege. Come from a family where everybody's married. Come from a family with long marriages that were actually happy. Not unhappy, like toxic marriages, but actually happy, loving marriages. So I do understand my privilege. The difference is I was always taught to prioritize myself. My father, I hate to do personals, but I was raised that as a girl, as a woman, I was the priority. I was the prize. And therefore, if I was going to attract a man, if I wanted a marriage, my goal was to always make myself the best person I should be. And then I'd attract the type of person I wanted to be with. That's how I was raised.
So that's the advice you would give to the young lady. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can
Go
I say
ahead.
something real quick?
Go ahead, Post. Hold on. I'm gonna let you respond. I the host finally see that women are stupid. I the host. I think. I don't know what you're trying to say here, but I the host finally see that women are stupid. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Puddles.
So would you agree that to attract something, you would have
Cash
to
app for
center it?
questions.
To attract something, you would have to center it in some kind of way. If you want something, and if there's a need for marriage there, this is my advice as a married woman. if you want something, if you see yourself getting married, if you see yourself wanting kids and wanting that family structure and family life, you would have to center that. You would have to make that a priority in your mind for it to even come about. You would even have to practice, being wifely and healing, and it's so many things that
I
go into.
disagree because that's
Okay,
not.
I wasn't done. Okay, I wasn't done. But if you want to interrupt, sure.
Wow.
That wasn't a priority for me. Marriage was not a priority for me. Being with somebody was not a priority for me.
I want
The
to,
thing
yeah,
that
yeah.
attracted
But hold
me
on,
to a
Sums.
husband-
Said.
Hold on. No, both of y'all, hold on. I want to be clear. I was asking, and I'm going to let Sums finish. I wanted to know what the advice would be for the person who's been single for 4 to 5 years and they want what you guys are describing, which is you're both married. Sure, let's just assume it's a healthy marriage. So the 4 or 5 years single, but they want what you guys have. That's what we're talking about. Not you guys and what you did, but what advice you would give to them.
Yeah, to start centering the kind of man you want. Not all men, not the toxic man, not the man that they usually describe, but to center men in some capacity and to attract that, to be the type of wife that you want to be first, to attract that kind of husband that you want to have.
I'm going to wholeheartedly disagree. Be happy with yourself. The only way you can attract somebody who's going to add to your life is if you're actually happy with who the F you are as a person. You can't attract somebody if you're sitting there looking desperate. The only thing you're going to attract is somebody who sees you. It's like a lion looking for a weak gazelle. That's all you're going to do. You have to be happy with who the F you are, where you are in your life, and state, I would like to add somebody to my life. The way that you do that is you sit there and you state, I know what I want for me. Put yourself in positions where you're interacting with the type of men you want to be with if you want to be with a man. And you sit there and you just be happy with yourself. You have to be okay with being by yourself. That is the only way you can be happy.
Yeah, no one's
I
saying
find
you
it real
shouldn't
funny
be
that
happy.
Sum
No
is
one's saying
talking about
you
pick-me's and she's been picked.
No one's saying you shouldn't be happy by yourself.
What did you think the horn meant, Puddles? What did you think?
Sorry.
I don't want you
Go
to be
ahead.
sorry. Let's be better. I think the host. Why are y'all writing this the same way? This is a different person. They wrote it the same way. The host, think the person's name that starts with a K is annoying as fuck.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
The person's name who start with the K is unhappy with herself, and so is her husband.
I would hope not. I mean, my husband is literally taking care of me post-op. He's at back to school night with our son, and he's literally the most awesome dude I know. Like, I don't understand how people don't understand that you can absolutely adore and love somebody. Like, he is my bestie. We have inside jokes. We're besties. Okay?
She's trying to convince us.
I don't
think
get how
she's
people don't get
annoying.
that. Like, I literally love my husband stupidly, and he
Oh,
loves me
we don't
stupidly.
believe it. We don't believe it. I'm
I
sorry.
find that
We
interesting
don't
that you
believe.
don't understand that because you've never loved anybody.
We don't believe it.
I didn't get to finish my point. So no one's
I don't
saying
think you guys like
no
understand
one's
how to
saying
love
that you
somebody
shouldn't be
stupidly.
happy. Really quick.
We
No
don't
one's saying
believe
that
it,
you
Subs.
shouldn't
We
be
don't
happy
believe it.
first.
It's just
No
weird
one's
that she's
saying
saying that, but she doesn't. She decenters her husband, so that make it make sense.
Okay, I can't read this out loud, but I received your Cash App, but it didn't meet the minimum. The minimum was right there on the panel. $5 Cash App for questions. It didn't reach it, so I can't read it out loud. Go ahead, Puddles, you can finish.
Yeah, no one's saying that you shouldn't be happy first before getting in a relationship and knowing who you are first. That's very important to know who you are first, knowing what you want. You know what I'm saying? And it's important if you really want something, if you really want to be married, which is valid. If you grow up around married people and they've shown you a great example of what that looks like, that can be something that you desperately want and can work on and try to get. I think demonizing that as being someone who's desperate or a damsel You could still have your sense of peace. You can still have your sense of happiness
think you're
and
using
love
the
for
wrong
yourself.
word. That's the issue. Like
What
desperate is kind
happened?
of like crazy.
I mean, if you think so, no one's saying like. Go ahead. Say what you're saying. What you're
Okay.
saying.
Okay.
Like I could desire this. Like yes, it would be a part of my purpose or my self-fulfilled purpose. But to be desperate for something, it usually never panders out properly. You know, because then that becomes
What's
the
the proof
focal
of
point
that?
of balance is important in life, and desperation does not call for balance because then it calls for obsession. You know what I mean? And nothing works without balance. So a desire is healthy, desperation is not.
So
And being in love and actually loving somebody for real means that they love you for real. And I
but
think that's what so many people don't understand about a relationship. You have to
Duh.
actually love each. No, you don't. You don't understand what love for real means. That
but you
means in
can
the
love
shit part.
somebody. You can love
That means
somebody and not in love with them though, because love and in love is two different things. I love my mama. I love my brother. I love my sister, but I'm in love with my wife. That's two
Okay,
different
I
things.
got a phone call, so I think
So
but let's talk. I think
yeah,
you guys are talking about relationships, right? I got a phone call,
yeah,
so
I'm
I don't know
talking
what
about
y'all be talking about.
relationship, and I
Okay, so
was going to talk about marriage, right? Because
hold on,
everybody,
hold on. I, the host, think the person's name who starts with a K up here lying like a rug.
so
Having a husband?
can I finish
what
what I'm saying, sir?
about loving my husband,
About
about being his best friend, about him being my best friend, about
I don't think they
us
think you
actually
got one.
raising a kid. Oh,
We don't
really?
believe it. We
I've
don't
shown my
believe
wedding
it.
pictures. I've shown
We
my
don't
wedding
believe
pictures
it.
before.
We
I
don't
think
believe it.
I
I've
think
shown my
that
wedding pictures, boy.
I, the host, think the person's name that starts with a K husband takes D batteries.
that's disrespectful.
Okay, first
you
off,
can
like, let's just be so for real. Like, people who say that are obviously upset because they've never been in a relationship with somebody who actually loves them. They're upset because I have a husband who supports my shit, who
We don't believe
absolutely
it.
believes in that shit. I mean, Mr. Too Flashy,
He
that's
centers
cute,
you.
but I
Sounds like he
actually
centers you.
he
Yeah.
he doesn't exactly center me. I encourage him to do whatever is good for him.
It sounds like you center him.
No, we center ourselves and
Hey
then we
girl, it
center
sounds
our
like he doing
relationship.
his own thing and you in love.
Yeah, we are. Like, we literally are. Like, we're those two people that literally love each other and we're like
Uh,
nerds. Like, we get each other.
they in an open relationship.
Ew, why would you? First off, I don't share. I don't share. I'm from a big ass family. We don't share. Okay?
They
That's
in an
not
open
something I
relationship.
do.
She do
Ew.
him, he do her. They do
No,
each
no, no,
other.
no. We do it too.
Person's name that starts with a K husband must love her to see her naked and stay. Must love her.
Too.
Okay.
Double
Must
H.
y'all gotta put a comma in y'all shit. Must love her to see her naked and stay.
You rearrange the fridge too?
That is so sweet. Like, yeah, I know. I'm naked. It's so hot. Like, literally.
It seems like you're saying that we shouldn't censor anyone, but it's clear to us that your husband is your center. The
No,
way
he's not my center.
clearly
That's the
Oh
thing.
my
it's
God.
like
That's not the center, honey. Honey,
he is your
Hey,
world.
hold on,
And
let's
we
let
all need
Shalette.
to
Yeah,
and we
go
all
ahead,
need to have
Shalette.
a husband like yours. And if we don't have a husband like yours, then we don't know anything about love and we don't know anything about relationships because we've never been in love the way you've been in love. I get it. You're in love and I'm congratulations. But there is so much more to being in a relationship than just somebody doing everything that we want them to do to satisfy our love language. You understand where I'm coming from?
And that's
no,
why I
because
came
no,
up
no,
here,
no, 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 no.
KGR.
Wait a minute. She's allowed to respond. Y'all relax a
Okay,
little
first
bit.
off,
Y'all all
I
talking
don't
at
think you
once.
guys
Hold on, we're still
understand.
talking, Sims. Okay, I missed a little bit of this conversation, but I'm back now. The person whose name starts with a K, a failed politician that stay lying.
I'm not a failed
I think
politician
he's
because
coming
guess
for her
what?
like
I
that.
got 36 people elected last year, and guess what? We getting about 18 more elected this year, bitches. That's me.
Wait, elected like city council?
G, I
No, no,
will
no,
drop
no,
you.
no, no. Like,
Don't
no, no.
respond to that,
Oh,
Sums.
sorry.
I will drop you. Cash app for questions. Listen, what's her name under Sums? What's your name? Shelly? Okay, Sums was responding to Shelly. Everyone mute up. Go ahead.
Okay, no. The thing is, I don't believe anyone has a different love than I have. That's not true. I believe that the love that I have with my husband is one where we have a lot of mutual respect. He supports me, I support him, but he understands that I am an autonomous human being and that I have my own goals. And he supports those goals, I support his goals. But we are both individual people. We do not sit there and try to center one another in that type of way because that's not going to work. It doesn't work because we have to be ourselves. We have to be whole people before we can be with other people. Like, that's just how I live it.
I understand what you're saying, but it's like sometimes like you can't just be ready to disagree with somebody because people can make you unhappy. Like you could be complete with yourself, but then you realize somebody come around and is like, I'd rather live by myself, because you're making me pretty unhappy. Like you're making me pretty uncomfortable. So I'd rather you go back to your mama house and stay by
And if that's
myself
the
until I
case,
find somebody who can make me comfortable,
and
who
that is
can complete me.
okay.
But it seems
And
like you're looking
that's
for
the
the
thing.
I don't think
I'm a
perfect.
anyone's
complete
saying
person
don't be
without.
an individual. I don't think anybody's saying don't be an
Oh my
individual.
God,
Don't have
really?
your own mind. No one's saying that. Like whenever I hear you talk about this topic, it's always the same thing. It sounds like a relationship with a toxic, controlling person. That's not every
What?
relationship.
How is it? Okay,
No,
first
the way
off,
you make it sound. You said you mentioned bodily autonomy or whatever.
no. I said an
Right.
autonomous being. That is not the same as bodily autonomy.
Well,
Autonomous being means
I
that I
corrected
have my
myself
own
after I said
friends.
that, but
He
go
has
ahead.
his own friends. We have friends that are mutual. I have my career. He has his career. They're very separate. They have very little in common. They do not overlap.
Can
But
you have all those things and not center your man as well? I think you can have
yeah,
many
I
things in
don't
the center
censor
and the
him, and
core.
he doesn't censor me, nor should he. Why would I ever? My concern is
I don't know how to read
So your man
this.
doesn't prioritize you.
Puddles.
no,
I know we're not
Cash
supposed to
app
ask
for
you
no,
questions,
no.
questions.
right? I won't ask you questions
Prioritizing and
then.
centering
Both
are
of you
two
guys
very
mute
different
your
things.
microphone.
Go
Mute
ahead.
your microphone. Come on now. I don't know how to read this exactly. It says the person's name with a K, husband, got released in '09 for minor essay.
First and foremost, that's not at all true. My husband's actually one of the I'm going to say this straight up. My husband actually busted an essay ring that was going on at an elementary school. I'm sorry, at a high school in our area. My husband is one of the most amazing people I know. And I'm not saying that just because I'm his wife. I'm saying that because he is that type of person. This is a man who literally saw a girl get out of a car and she was dressed up just a little too much to be in high school. And he called the police and said, hey, I know y'all were talking about there might be a human trafficking ring going on at this high school. I'm going to give you this information. He put his life on the fucking line to make sure this kid was not continued to be trafficked, okay? He literally put his life on the line because those MFers showed up at our house. Granted, I always keep a pew on my block. Like, I don't play. And that was what he did. My husband and I graduated from the same college. We entered freshman year. That's when we met. He is one of my best friends. He loves people and people love him. And that upsets me for anyone to say shit like that because you can literally, my name is on my page. Fucking Google me. You can see who my husband is. You can see who our child is. You can see who my family is. Who I am online is who I am in real life. So I do have a problem with anyone saying anything negative about my husband. Do not ever fucking say anything about my husband. He has done things to protect
Okay,
other people.
KR, JGR. Okay, we get it. I'm
Like no,
sorry.
no, 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 no.
She love her husband.
Like no, no,
That's the
no.
center
No
of her
one's gonna
world.
say fucking shit about my husband, okay?
Your
Because I
husband
will
is
fuck
short
his
Relax,
ass
We
and
up.
don't
funny
believe
One
looking.
more
it.
time.
all right, let's relax now,
No,
okay?
no,
Your
no, no,
husband is
no.
short
Because
and
Mr.
funny
Too
looking.
Flashy, I understand
We
that you've
don't
never
believe
been
it.
loved. I know you've never been
We
loved.
don't believe
I
it.
know you've
We
never
don't
been
believe
loved.
it.
And that's it.
Get a bag off
Persons
her.
persons whose name starts with a K. You ain't got no job. You lying. You ain't got no job. You lying.
Okay, Tommy.
It does say Martin voice too. I don't know if they wanted me to perform or some shit, but come on now, y'all
He's
wildin'.
like, okay, can you tell me, Tommy?
So
Okay,
yeah,
come on, Tommy.
you ain't got no
You
job. You
got
lying.
Tommy.
Okay.
Tommy.
All
Tommy.
right. Go
Sorry.
ahead. Puddles or whoever was the snort is crazy. Puddles or whoever was
Thinking
speaking.
about remember when Martin and they were at the ski chalet and he brought
What's wrong?
Aquanetta, the white chick named Aquanetta.
Oh, let's not do that.
Sorry.
Oh, God. Oh, wow.
I'm glad that she weak though. That's funny.
The snort.
Come on,
The
Aquanetta, a
snort
white
is
chick named
crazy.
Aquanetta. Come on now.
The snort is crazy. All right, who? I don't even
Can
know
I?
where y'all was. Where was y'all at before that last cash app?
All
Puddles,
over the
go ahead.
place.
Yeah, go ahead, Puddles. Puddles, you were speaking or you're done? Oh, are you there?
We're looking
Okay.
for Aquanetta.
Okay, go ahead. Let's talk.
So yeah, I think I listen to all these three women, and I think that they're looking, or they think they have the perfect person, right? One person, Kay, said that she loved her husband. I love my dogs too. You know what I mean? But I'm in love with my wife. So what I'm trying to say is to have a good balanced relationship, because everybody have some kind of trauma and some kind of problem. It's two person who choose each other to unpack the trauma together, so they can create a safe space to be their authentic self around each other. That's how you have a successful marriage. So now you can be your authentic self. You don't have to center no one. You don't have to do nothing like that. Because when you say centering someone, it sounds like you're in control. You control the person. Because we're all individual.
So you agree
When you,
with the women who are up here?
no,
So decentering men is a good thing. You agree or
no,
disagree?
no,
You
no.
just said you don't have. I heard your last thing. You
I
said
said you don't have to center a person, because when you try to center a person, that seems like you're controlling the person, right? When you choose as two person, right, to unpack whatever issue you have together, you create a safe space so you can be your authentic self around that person. So you don't need to center that person, because you have I good problem solving skill. So now you can communicate in such a way that, you know what I mean. You are
I don't.
authentic self.
I don't know what you mean.
No, I don't
Man
know what you're
agreed. That
saying.
man agreed. That man agreed.
I don't know what you mean. I'm not gonna pretend like I do.
So
Person's
everybody,
name. No, hold on. I'm still talking. Person's name that starts with the K was about to cry in the car.
I'm in my bedroom, and anyone who insults my husband is actually kind of insulting me too. No, I don't cry. I'm on
You better
medication.
stand up for your man, girl.
I do, because you're not going to talk shit about my husband. But I'm still laughing because I keep thinking of Aquanetta. So I'm sorry. That was literally the P.S. Martin episode. Like, don't laugh. A white tea chick walking in named Aquanetta. Come on.
My God.
Oh, stupid. All right, go ahead. Let's talk. Well, you know what? Who was following up? Go ahead, BP. I didn't catch any of that. So
I didn't either. That was a whole lot, because it did sound like he was agreeing with what we said earlier, which is, when you center a person, it absolutely does sound like control, because it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure when you're the center of somebody's world, because now their happiness, the peace that they find, whether or not they pursue different things, is all based on how you feel. And like on the one hand, that sounds like a really sweet deal until that person makes a decision, they regret that decision, and now they blame you because you didn't make me happy enough. So that's the reason I'm not happy. Or the reason why I didn't go back to school is because I was focusing on you and I should have went back because that's what I wanted to do. Like that's the problem when you have people centering the other person within the relationship, when it's really just much easier to have a relationship. And I mean, maybe that works for some people, to be clear. That really might work for some people. Some people don't want to be in charge of their lives and the decisions that they make. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing. Some people don't want to deal with that pressure. But for people who don't, you can have a relationship where that person is focusing on themselves, where everybody is focusing on themselves, and then you
VP,
come together.
help me understand
General
what you just said.
consensus.
You just said that about a lot of people don't want to. They feel like it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
What does that mean when certain women, not as a group, certain women say they like to be with their partner and not think, meaning turn their brain off? I've heard this a couple times. So what does that mean in this instance?
I think that has more to do with feeling safe. Yeah, that for sure has to do way more with feeling like I can let my guard down, as opposed to I'm not actually thinking and making decisions for myself. Because from what I've seen, at least, the women who say that tend to be talking about, like, when we're out on a date and we walking around, or if we holding hands someplace, I'm not thinking about what's happening around me because I feel so safe with this person that if something happens to me, they will intercede. So that I don't think that necessarily has to do with like them actually not thinking for themselves or making decisions for themselves, and more so just, I feel safe around this person in certain aspects.
Anyone
That's that
disagree?
broken. That's
Thank you,
that broken wrist
DPG,
syndrome.
for explaining that a little better to me, what censoring
I
was.
agree with that.
Hold on,
That's how I
I
like to do my wife.
I
everyone's talking at
disagree.
once. Who disagrees?
I disagree
Go ahead.
because that's the thing. Our generation likes to coin their own meaning to certain terms, and things are set in stone. Like, it is how it is, and it's been like that for a long time. And you adding your own meaning and definition according to your comfort just confuses things. You know what I mean? You can center a person, like you could center your relationship, because that's what marriage is. I center my relationship because it is the foundation, of my life. Like my mom, she was telling me, she was like, I cannot separate me being a wife from being a business person, because the way I carry myself as a wife spills over into the way I carry myself as a businesswoman. And what she said made a lot of sense, because her and all these roles surrounding her, she's in the center of it. You know what I mean? But the point of the partnership is so that it makes the livelihood easier and procreate. The part that you all are missing is balance. You all don't have balance. So you place more importance on one thing than the other, then everything starts to crumble because you forgot to water this plant. You know what I mean? You can't just survive off apples. You have to water the oranges too. You know what I mean? You all don't have any balance.
When you say hold on. Y'all fake attacking Kay and she can't defend herself. Oh, y'all fake. I think there's a comment here. Y'all fake attacking Kay and she can't defend herself. Oh, okay.
And
Hey, babe.
I just
that's
want to follow up
Say
on
hello. Come on, say hi, baby. You have to say hi. They don't believe you exist. You can be a mystery. He doesn't do social media.
We don't believe you.
I agree with what BPG was saying, because when you center someone in your relationship, say hi. Hi.
Hello.
That man sound like he's 70 years old, boy.
He's actually younger than me.
I believe that somebody can be your center, but you can still be an individual in a
G,
relationship.
hold on. I just got reminded. G, what's set in stone? What is set in stone? I heard you say that. I thought that was interesting. things are set in stone. What is that you were describing?
Like there are certain traditions and like meanings to words, in literature that, have been set in stone, like meaning like it is already become normalized. We know it as this way. We know it as, but then
No,
this,
I don't know what you mean. I don't know
okay,
what you mean. Give me an
something that,
example.
that has been tradition for a long time. You know what I mean?
Like cap, traditionally a hat that you wear over your head.
It's a cap, and then we turn it into like oh, that means you're lying. So if I be like, oh, a cap, and da da, then
So is that
I
set in
use it in
stone?
the traditional term. Well, that's what's in the dictionary. If I get 10 dictionaries, you're not gonna see lying on the cap. You're gonna see like baseball hat, or you know what I mean.
So that proves what?
That would be like traditionally the correct term of or meaning of the word, not
Set
lying.
in stone means never mind.
I understand what set in stone means. I know what set in stone means, but what I'm saying is, the correct term to it. People like to change and make their own meanings to it, and it's like, oh, this is the way it goes, and it's like, no, you just made that up. That is not the correct, verbiage. But whatever.
Oh, so is that what you felt like? That's what you feel like is being done with decentering men?
With a lot of these ideas that they use as excuse to the behaviors that they portray, yes.
What behaviors are they excusing?
Um, uh, the things that make the relationships not work nowadays. I'm trying not to step on anybody's toes. Like,
Say
okay,
whatever. Say it with your chest.
okay, no one wants to do their part, and they have all these excuses as to why, they don't want to do their part, or they shouldn't have to do their part in a relationship, and then they're all wondering why the relationship is crashing and burning.
Okay. Anyone disagree?
Yeah, I disagree. I think making the assumption that people's relationships are crashing and burning, and this is paraphrasing because they haven't centered the relationship or the person. When we know that all relationships are different, I think that I don't know that will ever make sense to me. Because I think it makes the assumption that all things work for all people. And we know that that's not the case. Some relationships will rely heavily on gender roles because some people like that. Some people like the idea of the husband leaves home in the suit with the briefcase and there's Susie Homemaker, and that's fine. That is okay. I think when people project that onto others, that's when that goes left. And I think that that's what's kind of happening here. Like the assumption is like, hey, they must be in a terrible relationship. They must be terribly unhappy because everything that they do isn't for their partner. Everything that they think about isn't for their partner. And it's rooted in something that's very real. I've seen a lot of older people and some people who are younger who have been in relationships and they center their partner, and either they get divorced or the person passes away. And especially with older people, the person passes away and 6 months later they pass because that person has been so heavily integrated into their world that they don't even know how to survive without them. So it's not just a matter of that person not being the center of your world because you just dislike them or you hate your spouse. Like that's not
what I said. That's why listening is like really fundamental.
Without yelling, you don't have
I
to
wasn't
yell.
yelling. I didn't yell. But okay, whatever.
I didn't finish
But
my
that's
point
why,
either.
okay. I didn't say, the scenarios they were describing were not that of a healthy or a happy relationship.
Right.
So
I
I was
didn't finish
speaking
my
on the
point though.
scenarios being described. Second, I didn't say center the person and that's what's going to make you happy. I said you have to center the relationship. No relationships are 100% happy because you have to exist with somebody else, which isn't because you guys have your similarities and you have things that make you have your differences.
Yes.
Men love women who are ran through. You agree or disagree?
Ooh. I can't stand you. I can't stand you. I kind of agree. Yeah,
You
I
agree.
agree.
Okay, flat. Oh, Puddles. Men love women who are ran through. You agree or disagree?
I disagree.
Okay, why do you disagree?
They'll probably.
I saw your comment. I was like, oh, perfect. Okay, that'll work. I appreciate you guys for joining the live. I guess we'll do the second prompt tomorrow, man. This live lasted a little bit longer than I thought it would be, but I told myself it wouldn't. I would try to put a little bit of time here. Thank you guys for joining the live. Thank you for tapping the screen. New subscribers, I appreciate you. There's a link tree in my bio, like I got an OF, and the backup page is there, so you can find my backup page where we'll generally do a different live time. This live time will be around the 5 o'clock afternoon. Appreciate you guys for gifting. Thank you so much. This will be the afternoon, type of shit. And the other live is gonna be, I don't want to restrict it to just the weekend, but pretty much the weekend. Cash App Awards and the game night, $300 given away on the game night. That's gonna be this weekend. Join the Discord for updates. I appreciate your energy. You guys stay black and stay blessed. Don't let this live be something you like more than yourself.